You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
I stabbed him in the butt.
The wasteland is a host of apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waves. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waves.
Hello and welcome to the 428th edition of the Fallout Feed. We are the show who compares and contrasts Fallout experiences through a lively roundtable discussion by playing through the same quest with characters who have been randomly assigned drastically different attributes. Welcome, everyone. My name is Andrew, and I am joined tonight by stalwart host Ray. What's up, Ray?
Hello, hello.
And also longtime host Jess. What's up, Jess?
Hey, Andrew. Greeps, everybody.
And first-time guest on the Fallout Feed, welcome, Swear I'm Normal. Hey, Swearl, what's up?
Not much. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the show. How many podcasts you been on? This is one of your one of your first podcasts you appeared on? You a regular
Yes,
podcaster?
first one.
First one. Well, we'll try to take it easy on you then.
Appreciate it.
Welcome to the
Diving
show.
into the deep end with,
yeah.
3-hour show tonight, Andrew, or should we go for 4? How should we do this?
5 or 6, usually with newcomers, I think, is the practice, right? Sounds good. All right, thanks, Swearl, for hopping on. Swearl's been sending us some feedback for our current project, which is the Roundtable. We are playing in Fallout 4 survival mode. We did a couple of weeks of warm-up, and then we hopped over to Fahaba for a couple of weeks, and then we did Automatron, and now we are rounding out the season with a trip over to Nuka World. So hop on the train, everybody, and join us. We're over here having a good old time with some spray misters. Yay! Fucking worst Kitty Kingdom. All right, guys, let's the show tonight. We'll get into our gameplay as usual on top. I brought another game tonight, and I had so much fun with Pigcorn last week that yes, Vendertron, what?
Pigcorn?
Yes, Vendertron. We're playing Pigcorn again. So we'll put in an edition of Pigcorn for game time. The quests that we're playing for the Roundtable are Kitty Kingdom, the World of Refreshment, and Safari Adventure. Well, those are the areas. What are those? The quests are called something different, aren't they? I don't remember what they're called. But we'll hit up those 3 sections of the park for Nuka World there. Got a few iguana bits, including some Fallout TV show news and some shouts on the way out the door. So why don't we go ahead and roll into our gameplay this week. Hey, Ray, did you get a chance to play any Fallout this week? Or other video games?
Yeah, not much outside of the quests. With Skyrim, I've been doing quite a bit of playing around with the different deities. Now I'm starting to get into the weeds, so I started a character that is worshiping Xerxes, who is
Wait a second.
just a really off.
That doesn't sound like a normal Skyrim deity.
Yeah, it's
That's from like
one of the
300 or whatever, right?
The Elven pantheon. So that it's been it's been a fun one but it's pretty random. So, but I like random.
I like random too, Ray. A little bit of
And
Sheograph
No Man's
for you.
Sky, we just got our big summer update.
Yeah, I saw Sherry post about that. What's going on with your big update?
So there's still pending an expedition, but we got a new race of creatures. So we have autophages now, which are robot people.
Ooh. Did you know that was
and-
coming?
Nope, no idea. I mean, they were mentioned in the last update as far as lore goes, but
Yeah.
really nothing beyond just that something called an autophage exists. But now we know that it's a robot people.
Are they careful about adding stuff later to like double, triple check, make sure, it's got to fit lore because we'll have, longtime players complaining about, oh, that doesn't fit.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. The game has gotten so big now that, there's stuff that happens in the game that you forgot even happened. That's been in there forever, but because it's not part of, what the newest and shiniest is, you kind of leave it by the wayside. But now, they're circling back on some of that. So, and actually, what the main, in air quotes, quest for No Man's Sky is you're following a character called Artemis. You
yes,
do
I
that
remember that part.
one time, and then you never, ever, 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 ever do it again. And since I start so many new characters, none of the characters that I had have done that quest because I just stopped doing it, years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So like the Conquered crew, basically.
yeah, very
Yeah,
much like
just
very
once
like
a month.
Preston.
Leave
Yeah.
Mama Murphy to rot.
Only when I get them on a roll in the round table. But now you have to have that completed in order to to activate the quest to meet the autophage people. So right now I'm scrambling to get that done on one of my characters.
It took
But it's a really long quest.
Yeah, it took me 2 years to complete that quest when I played, right? I mean, granted, I did it like play for a few weeks and then take 6 months off and then play for a few weeks and then take 6 months off, but it literally took me years to complete that Artemis quest.
I've been pounded away on that, so I haven't really gotten into too much of the new content yet. One of the things that we'd been asking for was more consequences to pirating. Pirating was so, trouble free that it really got kind of boring.
Isn't that fun though? Like, don't you want to like pirate with abandon?
But I want consequences.
The space police don't come and slap you in handcuffs or anything?
No.
Gotta think about your choices a little bit more carefully.
Yeah, a little bit more carefully.
So what are the consequences now then?
Well, so one of the consequences is that it's harder to do because now the freighters that we use to pillage have shields. So now you have to take down their shields while they're shooting at you before you can take out their turrets, to make them defenseless. And then they also launch defensive ships. So now it's a little more of a commitment. You can't just, before you could just fly up, take out their turrets, loot their containers, and then take off.
They had no defenses.
And go to the next one, and then the next one. But now there's a little more activity. There's a little more fighting. It's a little more involved. And it also used to be that when you would destroy, when you would rob a freighter, you wouldn't suffer any faction loss for the faction in that system. So the Gek, the Korvax, the Viking. Well, now you do. And so, you have to keep that in mind too. You're going to be suffering bad reputation with one of the factions, and also you can use a fake passport. And it used to reset all of the factions. Now it'll only reset the faction in the system that you use the fake passport in.
Are the autophages one of the pirate cultures? You just say, well, they're the new guys, so fuck them. We haven't earned any reputation with them yet.
No.
Just
rob
the new guy.
What I've done so far has been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to finally getting to the point where I can meet the new folk.
New folks.
Awesome.
Oh, you still haven't seen them yet? Yeah, I guess you hadn't. How long will it take you to rush through that whole long Artemis quest?
Hopefully I'll get it done tomorrow.
So how many days was that?
Well, it launched on Wednesday.
So just 2 days? 2-3 days?
No, Thursday.
So 2 or 3 days, right?
Yeah.
Wow, you did in 2 or 3 days what it took me 2.5 years to do.
I was, working a little more intently at it.
And you know
He's
how to
had
play
practice.
you know how to play
Plus
the
it-
game too. Every time I would
yeah.
come back, take a 6-month break, I come back and I'm like, okay, what? Now, how does this game work again? Oh, this isn't Fallout. What's happening?
Yeah. And also it wasn't a brand new character either. So, things happened a little easier because I could
You had stuff.
fight better and had
Yeah.
a better ship and all that good stuff.
Cool.
But yeah, that's about all I've been up to. That and granddaughtering.
Granddaughter. Oh, that's great. Well, that's a good trade-off from cutting into game time is some granddaughter
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. So yeah, I had a great week with the two granddaughters from the East Coast. So
That's great. You don't consider yourself on the East Coast?
well, I mean they are right on the coast of Virginia.
Oh, okay.
So
To us, you are East Coast still. Even though you're in the South, you're still in the East Coast.
yeah.
Right on, Ray. Hope you had fun. Sounds good.
Oh yeah.
All right. Hey, Swirly, did you get a chance to play any video games this week? What have you been up to?
I did. I played Fallout mostly.
Oh, nice.
Good choice.
Yes. I've tried to play a couple other games since then. I got Batman, like the whole Arkham, or a couple of the Arkham games in it, and I played that
Oh,
for
nice.
maybe an hour. I'm like, man, I don't know how to play this.
Yeah,
Yeah, that combat
it's tough
is
to
pretty,
switch to games.
Intense, but fun. Have you
is-
done
it
Arkham
is fun.
before?
I've played it a little bit. I've watched my siblings play some of it, but I haven't done much in it.
I really liked
yeah.
the first one, and I played through the second one too. I think there's 3 of those, right? The Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and
Arkham Knight, I think.
Arkham Knight. Okay.
Yeah, there's a 4th spin-off, Arkham Origins, but it's not quite the same. I didn't realize you played both of those. That's awesome.
Yeah, that must have been back in the PlayStation 3 days, I guess.
Mhm.
Right? Yeah. No, those are fun. That's back when the Chris Nolan Batman movies were big, and I was going through a big Batman phase, reading Batman comics, playing Batman games and such.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, good
lots
stuff.
of fun.
Yeah.
And then, so when I'm not playing the Roundtable, I've got a zombie modded playthrough running.
What?
So
Wow. Which mods are you using for zombie mods? And are you still in survival? Please say no.
I am still in survival. Oh my God.
Okay. What mods are you loading for it?
I've got a couple of like what are they called? Fall Evil, the Resident Evil mods.
Okay, the
I've
Fall
got some
Evil
of
ones.
them. I don't have all of them.
And the ones
but-
with the wandering ghouls at night, like packs of ghouls in the evening, or
I don't know if I've got that one. It's not
Okay.
like a super hardcore zombie because I am in survival. I'm like, we're gonna ease myself into it just a little bit. But
I know
Yeah,
it wouldn't
so
be the
that's
same
some
game
fun.
now. I know it wouldn't be the same game now if I played it again, but Resident Evil 2 was like the scariest game I've ever played.
actually haven't played any of them.
Oh
I've
my
been
God.
thinking about it, but I haven't played any of them.
2 just freaked me out. Things crawling on the ceiling and shit. It was crazy. Yeah. Scary game.
Yeah.
So,
it is pretty spooky indeed.
what does a
I
zombie
don't-
mod entail? Sorry, Jess. Go ahead.
No, I want to hear about her playing the zombie mod. Like, is it more difficult? Do you change your play style? Like, is it like more stealth? I mean, would you compare the, gameplay in that versus the regular game?
So, I mean, yeah, it's a whole lot more stealth, and I've got mods that add zombies into the game, or like add like the ghouls or the zombies or whatever. So there's more of them. But I've been tending towards like doing a sniper rifle character, so I try and stay away from the whole packs and just pick
Mhm.
them off one by one. Yeah, if you get swarmed, it's pretty much all over. You can't do much.
I can imagine. Even the
It's a-
regular game, you get too many at once and it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And then for this one, I've got a mod running that if you get bit, you have a certain amount of time that you have to like take an antibiotic or get to a doctor or something, otherwise you die. So it's it's a little bit more trouble trying to get through it.
That's
But
awesome. You think
yeah,
you'd turn into a
it's been lots of
zombie.
fun. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and then, game over. But it's been lots of fun.
Wah, wah.
That sounds
Good deal.
awesome. That sounds
Yeah.
awesome. So Fallout 4, now that's what you played this week, Fallout 4 and some of the Batman stuff. You have been
Yes.
playing 76 off and on too, correct?
Not too much. I did it one night with my brother because I was over at their place and I brought my laptop because I just use a gaming laptop. But yeah, he downloaded it. I already had it installed. We played a little bit and then I haven't touched it since. So
You're not
I don't know.
a scoreboard marcher.
No,
shall we say.
because I played Destiny for a while and with my friends. I'm not a huge online game person.
Yeah.
So if they're on, then I might get on. But if I try to do their equivalent of a scoreboard, and I just ended up hating the game so much that I would
Yeah.
not touch it anymore.
Relatable.
So I don't even want to try. It would be bad.
Absolutely. I understand that notion. Very cool. So what else you getting into in the game there?
In Fallout,
Whichever you're
Oh.
you're doing.
I don't know. Just running around trying not to die, honestly,
Yeah.
and then dying anyway.
Well,
But-
usually when we have a first-time person on, we kind of chit-chat a little bit about your gaming and Fallout history and such.
I suppose.
When did you start talking about? When did you start playing video games, and what was some of your favorites early on?
Oh, I don't. Growing up, my family didn't have cable. We didn't use cable at all, and movie nights were kind of like a special sort of thing. So whenever a TV got put in front of us and there was something moving, we all kind of just sat down and watched. So my dad was playing video games and we would just watch him. We'd all three of my siblings and I would sit down and we'd just watch him play. We'd ask questions. And he played, I think it was New Vegas. And I was more appalled at the fact that all the books were burnt rather than he was running around killing people. Honestly, I was like, what is going on?
It is pretty appalling. All those burnt books. I agree. Travesty.
Yeah. So he had all of the 3 in New Vegas and 4 downloaded. So we would play on them and, we'd watch each other play on them. And eventually, yeah, we all just got into video games pretty hardcore. And so I've played, the Fallout, and then sometimes I like to play Slime Ranchers, just run around and deal with the little slimes.
It's super cute. Slime Rancher is a Game Pass game for those who don't know. The second one's out. I haven't done the second one yet while it's in beta, but the first one, I totally loved that
I
one.
haven't done the second one either. Yeah, but
Yeah,
the slimes are just so cute.
they're
Honestly.
adorable.
Yeah. And then what? I really like the Dragon Age series.
Oh,
That
cool.
is one of my favorite series. I don't think I'm trying to play them all in order right now, but I got that in Origins. I have this glitch where the game crashes whenever I try to cross that bridge into the King's encampment or whatever at the very beginning of the game.
Oh,
And so
really?
it
An
just
Ostagar?
crashes every time I try and cross that bridge. I have no idea what's going on. So I moved on to the second game. I'm like, I can't
And
get
that makes
past
sense.
this.
But you played them before, though, right? It's one of your favorite series, or what did you start with?
So I started with I think I started with 2 and I got most of the way through that. And then Inquisition came out and I was like, oh no, look, new shiny game. So I switched to that without finishing 2. And I played several different characters on Inquisition. And then I went back to try and play Origins, and yeah.
It's a bit of a, it's kind of like us going back and playing the first Fallout 1 and 2.
Right.
It's when you go back to the more isometric games and stuff that you're not used to. I cut my teeth on that stuff, but even so, it's hard to go back to.
Yeah.
And big time with Origins.
Yeah, I had Origins on a different computer and I got a couple of the crashing right across the bridge, but then I managed to get across it and I played a good bit into the storyline, and then I got another computer, and now I can't play it at all. So that's a little
Oh, no.
annoying. But
It's not even a bug I'd heard of before, but
Yeah,
I
I don't
mostly
know
play
what's
it on
going on.
Xbox.
I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on because it's not like I have any mods loaded into it that I would think would crash it. But yeah,
But
it
I
just
have to say,
crashes.
that's super cool that you cut your teeth on the Fallout games, like with your dad playing New Vegas. Like that,
Yes.
you know, a lot of people we meet, Fallout might be one of their first big video games that they're into. But like for that to be like where you're like, yeah, this is fun and playing the games, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
I don't think she
Yeah.
said this was fun. I think she said, "Oh my God, all the burnt books, Dad."
yes. Very avid reader. So when I saw the books, I was like heartbroken. I was like, what? No. But
So tell us a little bit more about Fallout. What was your first one that you played yourself?
the first game that I played was 4.
Me
First
too.
game I played was Fallout 4.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. And then I think I tried to play might have been New Vegas. I didn't get very far into that one. Because it's very different from 4.
Mhm.
And
It
that was the
is.
first one I played. So I mean I tried it and I've kept trying it again over the years, and then I just keep going back to 4, and then don't remember what I'm doing in New Vegas. So then I have to make a new character, and it's the death spiral, honestly.
Yeah, I've expressed a lot on this show how hard it is to start with 4 and go back in the series, especially when so many hardcore Fallout fans claim that 3 and New Vegas are the best Fallout games.
Exactly,
You know
and
what I mean?
like I could understand why they like it, but with me playing the beginning so many times, it's like I really don't want to do this again.
Right. It doesn't draw you in. That makes sense. So you kind of have to start at a point where you don't know what you were doing. Yeah, I can see how that would be a bit of a stumbling block. How
Yeah.
you don't want to do the same thing again and again. You're like, yeah, I've done this already. This is boring. But you need it in order to learn how to play the rest of the game.
Right? Yeah. No, I totally understand, but just trying to go back into a character that I made, 6 months to a year ago, it's like I have no idea where I am. I don't remember how to play this game at all. So then you have to start the new character to understand everything again, and it's a
Andrew
whole
and
mess.
Starfield.
Being an RPG fan, though, I mean, they are the kind of games you live in. Like, it sounds like if you're an avid reader and a lot of games you play are RPGs, you must really enjoy the story aspect of them.
Oh yes. And that's part of the reason why I can't play online games very much is because I live for the storyline. I live for the lore behind everything. I like to understand what's going on and why it's happening. So, or like Call of Duty, I tried once with my brother because he really loves it. I'm like, I can't do this.
There's a story in there somewhere, but it's not very complex. No.
No.
Cue the angry emails from all of our COD lovers. Just kidding. None of them listen.
Yeah.
They're listening to a different podcast, Jess.
Good. I'd rather stay away. You like your games, I like mine. We can exist in separate circles. That's okay.
Absolutely. So, if Fallout 4 was your first big Fallout exposure, do you have a favorite faction, a normal play style, sneaky sniper, run and bash
I
melee?
pretty much stick with sniper, which is kind of funny because when I switched to Skyrim, I like two-handed weapons and getting up close. But it's normally it's the other way around from what I've seen. But yeah, so normally I stick with sniper, and most of the times that I finish the game, I stick with the Minuteman ending.
Me too.
Mainly because I like my autonomy, and I know I think I've said this before, but I usually play on survival mode.
Wow.
So like the settlements and what you need for the Minutemen with the settlements is just I'm doing it anyway, so I might as well just stick with them and not go out of my way to try and complicate the storyline. But I have done the BOS, and last time I tried the railroad, every time I entered the North Church, it crashed.
Oh no.
So I kind of gave up on that one. I might try it again, but just getting all the way through the storyline to that point is
tough.
A little annoying sometimes.
Yeah, I hope someday you
had
can.
a character like that.
Because if you played the game so much, but there's certain areas you can't go to due to crashing. I mean, hopefully whether the next gen update or new hardware or something will make a difference, because definitely worth seeing all the storylines. And as you know, they're my favorite. So
or a PC. You have a gaming laptop.
I do.
The Institute is just super annoying. Did you ever buddy up with those fellas?
I think I tried, and I have a really hard time playing the bad guy. I have a really funny story about that actually. I was playing Fable 2, and my brother was sitting next to me, and he was laughing at me the entire time because there's a portion of that where you have to fight, I don't know, like the raiders. I don't remember what they're called, mercenaries or whatever.
Yeah, usually mercenaries.
Yes, and there was these people locked in cage going to be sold as slaves. And I was doing my darndest to try and be an evil character this playthrough, and I gave the key for the slave cage back to the mercenary, and then I felt so bad I had to delete the character.
Oh
could
God,
not stand it. I understand it's a video game, but I was like, no. My brother was laughing so hard next to me.
I get the feeling though, instant regret. You're like, I can't be mean. It's like when you accidentally eat a crunchy chick or two in Fable 2 to be evil. Like,
Yes.
you ever done that? I was dared to. My husband dared me to once. He's like, come on, eat a crunchy chick. I'm like, no. It's like, eat a crunchy chick. I'm like, no. For those who don't know, it's actual live baby chicks that you like crunch on, and it's one of the most evil things you can do in the game.
Yeah,
sounds
and
terrible.
I think the cultist or whatever, he's like, oh my gosh, I can hear it like chirping in your stomach or something like that. Yeah, it's awful. Yeah. It's hilarious, but it's awful.
Well, that's no good. So you stick with a Minuteman, Sneaky Sniper.
Yes.
Any other sort of general Fallout tendencies? Favorite perk columns? I assume like rifleman and such if you're a sniper.
Right, rifleman and getting as many caps as possible, because trying to outfit the for ammo can be difficult sometimes.
Yes,
especially in survival.
In survival, yeah.
Or you've got all the you need to buy antibiotics, or you need to go to the doctor all the time, or this, that, and the other thing. So try those kind of perks, and adamantium skeleton is another big one that I try and go for.
That's
just to avoid the limb damage, because as a rifle character, I've got a pistol, but that, if something gets up close and personal to you and manages to destroy one of your limbs, it's kind of it sucks. It sucks.
Definitely. So you started, or you play a lot of survival modes. So everyone else who's playing along with the Roundtable is all like, "Oh my God, the survival!" At least early on, we're all struggling hard. But this is probably no big deal to you, no transition at all. You just nested right in.
Yeah, yes. And I normally play with mods, so when I saw that was the new season of the Roundtable, I'm like, oh, okay, I have to do this. This is what I do anyway. It's gonna be so much fun.
Perfect.
Just, talking with everybody and figuring out what they do and doing something new. Yeah, so much fun.
So Nuke has been a lot of fun.
Yes.
Nice matter of fact character. I really like the storytelling, the way it's evolved. It's been fun.
Thank you.
So
so my dad is in the military. So when I first got that, and I was like, hey Dad, so if he was in this platoon and this and that, and how would you play this character? He's like, oh yeah, here's everything. And I was like, yes, thank you. He's like, oh, here's how you can make him devolve into madness, and here's how you could do this, and could be his motivation. He was going on, and it was so fabulous.
Nice.
But
how has the Roundtable character differed from your normal play style? Does the Roundtable step you out of your comfort zone at all?
So, a little bit with this character. I started with a rifle because that's, military man. They kind of use some sort of rifle and then also a pistol. So I tried to stay away from the sniping aspect. So I just had a mid-range rifle. And then my faction for the Nuka world is the Disciples. So he's kind of descending into madness, and as he's descending into madness, he wants to get more up close and personal. So Well, I was still in the Commonwealth. I did mostly rifle. And then as I went into Far Harbor, it was rifle and pistol. And then slowly, like, going more towards the pistol aspect. And then the Disciples, it's pistol and melee. And then slowly going more towards the melee as I grab more perks for it and unlock all the, like, Disciple buffs or perks or whatever they are. So it's as the round table has been going, it's moving further and further away from my comfort zone. So I'm just easing myself into it just a little bit.
As a disciple, you just really like the feeling of sticking that knife into someone and twisting it around.
Oh yeah, the blood spraying everywhere and the smell, the metallic smell. It's perfect.
All right, Nissa.
Well, I mean, they're the first time I did the Nuka World DLC, I was playing a Minutemen like Goody Two Shoes character, and I was like, oh, I really, really like the Disciples. Like, they're my favorite faction in Nuka World. Just the unhingedness of them is just fabulous to me. But I'm like, I can't do that with my Minutemen characters. So the first and only time I have done Nuka World is open season. I just killed everybody. So this has been a kind of a new experience for Nuka World.
Oh, for sure. That would be. And it's when we got the role, it was interesting. When we were rolling characters, I remember you mentioning in chat, like, no, I like the Disciples. I'm glad I got them. So
I really do.
Awesome. Yeah, no, they are unhinged. Getting to know them more, like, I mean, bloodthirsty. And it's interesting, the dialogue, the constant idea that they are ready to just kill or do anything. They really don't have any rules. I mean, obviously, the one rule is don't get caught, like they say over and over
and over again. Yes.
But yeah, very unhinged. And the idea of a full face mask you can't even see out of, that's always been odd to me.
That just means that they're good at what they do. They don't have to see to do it, right?
They're honing their other senses. It's very visceral. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, and if they miss their mark the first time, you just try again.
Fair.
Right.
Just keep slashing.
They have great knives.
I've got a Disciples knife that I picked up in the Commonwealth for some reason, and it was legendary, so maybe that's why.
Nice.
But yeah, so I've been running around with that. That's been really nice.
What effect does it have?
It's frigid, so
ooh.
It's like on every block there's like a 15 or 20% chance to freeze the enemy.
Do you ever block? Like I don't think that's, unless I'm assigned in a round table for Skyrim blocking with a shield. I don't think I ever block ever.
I blocked a lot in Kitty Kingdom with the ghouls running at me.
That
I will
be
say
smart.
that
They kicked my ass.
I got maybe one or two frozen, but there was a lot of ghouls.
Yeah, that's a technique that I should really incorporate into my up close battle, just because I never ever think to block anything.
Yeah, and funny story. I finally figured out how to power attack running through Safari Adventure yesterday.
Oh, nice.
I've been doing melee for how long now? And I was like, oh, that's how you power attack.
I mean, if you're VATS melee a lot, it's not as big of a deal because you're not power attacking. But yeah, it does make a difference for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Especially with those gator claws. Now, if only I'd learned it in time for the Nuka lurks, that would have been fabulous.
Oh, brutal. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's look at your show notes here. You did your melee switch. Looks like you had a rough time with the Kitty Kingdom, as I did. We'll get into more of that here in a little bit. Rachel missed out on loot. So it sounds like a lot of this stuff is quest related, which we'll get into here
pretty
in a
much,
little
yeah.
bit. Cool.
Yep.
All right. Any other gameplay stuff that you're getting into this week that you want to mention?
I don't think so. No.
All right, sounds good.
That was pretty much it.
Hey, Jess, did you get a chance to play any video games this week? What are you getting into?
I did, but it was mostly back to Fallout this week. It was a very Fallout heavy week.
Nice.
Got some 76 in over the weekend. Nukes and Queens of all things. Not my usual kind of gameplay.
Yeah.
But hanging out with my Gato crew and some other friends. And yeah, we just like, hey, let's just grind some levels, which not the best time to do it. I mean, we're at the end of a scoreboard. We don't need that experience rollover, but we're just having fun for stream and to do stuff. And, obviously I could use a few levels because I'm still not at 300 yet.
Did
Still,
did something happen with the new update? Because I've seen a ton of nukes, and I've done a few Scorch Beast Queens myself. Saw White Springs nuked a couple times. I'm like, what is going on here? I haven't seen nukes in months, and then all of a sudden, like everyone's doing it again. Did something change?
it might be partly your luck because honestly, nukes are harder now than they have been in a long time. Starting with the update when we got the Blue Devil and the Agua back, end of June, when beginning of last season, the some of the changes to turret damage and energy damage and robots actually made running a silo a lot more difficult than it's been in a while. So
Tough.
people slowed down at first, but I think some people liked figuring out the challenge again. You know what I mean? Like once they kind of figured out how to work around it, new strategies, now they're challenging themselves because with less people running nukes, the ones that do are like, hey, I can do it. And, bit of showing off, bit of fun. But also, I also find end of scoreboard. People tend to do nukes a little bit more anyway if they're jumping in the game and playing, just as kind of a stopgap thing because they're not focusing on doing all these other things.
Is the silo an XP rich environment?
Moderately, yeah. It's funny. A silo is XP rich, but it's not like Rad Rumble XP rich, or maybe Eviction Notice, Moonshine Jamboree, like maybe around those. But Rad Rumble is still the ultimate for XP. Well, and running West Tech, of course.
West Tech over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But yeah, so that was a lot of fun. The nukes and queens. I probably did like 6 queens, 3 on one server, jumped to another 3 on another server. Just what happened was Shreds of the Medusa Summon, one of the people hanging with us, loves running nukes. So obviously I was not running nukes. I say nukes and queens. No, they were running nukes while I was tooling around my camp.
I went to build, and then they launched nukes.
Yes, and photo mode, and I mean, we did some events and real stuff too. And then I went, we fought the queen, and then I went back to doing stuff while they ran the silo. Because another thing, the more people you have in a silo, the more difficult they are, which people know. But running a silo solo is almost always the best way to do it.
Really?
Going in there with a crew of 3 or 4, it's going to be a lot more difficult for everyone.
They throw more robots at you, or what?
A lot more robots. Yeah. It's chaos, utter chaos.
Nice.
So that was a good time in 76. Done with the scoreboard, have been for a while, but we knew the change was coming up. So that was good. And then on Monday, I jammed out all of our Fallout 4 quests. So stuff came up where I'm like, I got to get stuff done for the roundtable because a lot of times for roundtable quests, depending on how much I'm playing for other obligations, I end up, I tend to do the quest Wednesday, Thursday. Just kind of spread them out, take my time. And I mean, I might do them in between, of course, too. But a lot of times it's like the last couple of days before we're actually going to talk about it because you like to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
And you get distracted by other things. And now that I'm not streaming, I've got more time to just game, which has been great. And a lot of the Fallout 4 has been fun. But yeah, this week I did them on Monday. So it turned out to do our 3 quests that we'll talk through in a little bit was about 6 hours. I had started around 9:30 p.m. and finished around 3:30 a.m. So not too bad. Now, you mentioned like for you, it was most of the weekend, right, Andrew, that you played off and on?
Well, the other 2 parks were no big deal, but Kitty Kingdom took me 2 days to get to the fucking castle. Like it was tough for me. I don't know.
Kitty Kingdom was my toughest too. Yeah. We'll talk about that when we get there, but it definitely, those rides are no joke in survival, especially if you're not using power armor, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So that was my Fallout 4. And then of course we had a new season and update in 76 launch on Tuesday. So it was great. Sorry, it was not great. Revise my sentence. You're absolutely right.
And there was much rejoicing.
So I had to jump in and check out the adjustments and changes and get a jump on that scoreboard. Where's my sound again, Andrew?
Wait, what? You want this?
Scorecation!
Oh wait,
no,
not that
the
yet.
scoreboard. Yes.
Hear any of those?
The sound of sadness and vuvuzelas. Exactly. Wait, that wasn't a vuvuzela, was it?
No, sorry, that was a super mutant hound. You guys are so terrible at that.
Anyway, I got on there and so banged out the weeklies and the dailies. And honestly, it's funny talking to people. Scoreboard again, just like last season, is going relatively quick. If you pop a score booster, you get your lunch boxes, you're getting the rollover. people I know who were running a booster and regular lunch boxes with decent intelligence made it to doing all the weeklies and dailies about level 15 or 16 in the first 2 days. I think it was the same for Sulior in chat and a few other people. Myself, didn't actually pop a booster, and I didn't re-roll my daily op. So doing everything except for the daily op, I got to level 12. So not bad, rank 12 in the first day.
Yeah.
And I wanted to also play with some of the changes that happened in the game. So, not everything that they were testing on the PTS was in this. And I won't go through everything. We talked through some of it last week. But I did see, the new items on the scoreboards are cool. They've got the little radio plays on the scoreboard for the last couple. This one I think was supposed to have them, but they're not active on the scoreboard.
Huh.
So if you go to listen to the little radio plays on the scoreboard and they're not there, they might be activated later. But if they're not working for you, it's not just you. Don't be like, oh no, what's wrong? And reboot or anything. It's fine. There is a new ally that I thought was interesting, Grandma Junko.
Grandma Junko. I read about her. I want to check her out.
Yeah, Grandma Junko. She can cook up a good old-fashioned home-cooked meal for you, but her memory isn't what it used to be. So, I don't know, haven't unlocked her yet, but that sounds interesting. The whole patriotic enclave theme this season is kind of interesting. I like some of the stuff coming in. Automata Collectron, maybe not so much. But let's see. So, they said with balance changes. So, I'm going to get into this because we really did feel this summer that some things were going wrong. I mentioned how fireproof wasn't working as well. Fire damage was kind of destroying me. Acid damage was what the muffin humpers. It was just the worst. And, things were a little bit rough. So I went in and it's better. Okay, fireproof seems to be working again. The fire damage from the robots weren't like insta-kill. You know what I mean? I wasn't a crispy critter immediately, but it's still pretty bad. They said they reduced the enemy difficulty and added more healing items to some of the early areas for people. They did reduce the frequency of attacks on camps, which is excellent. Now, you know how a lot of times every time you fast travel to a camp or someone else fast travels to your camp, it's going to be under attack? Well, now it is not. And I did find that to be true. While I was on, I probably played 5 hours after the update this week, maybe 4, at least 4 or 5 hours. And my camp was only attacked twice. So that's not too bad.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I guess I don't go shopping at people's camps very often anymore. I didn't even realize camps under attack was a big deal.
Yeah, no, it definitely happens. I mean, if you're at your camp just working and building for a couple hours, haven't you noticed that basically about once an hour or so, a bunch of enemies spawn, like dogs or mole rats or something, come by and start attacking you?
Yeah, I've been getting ants a lot at my camp where it is now. Yeah, I have. Yeah,
ant
you're
location.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and they've slowed that down, so you should be able to build in peace, and then also fast travel to other people's camps shouldn't spawn them quite as often. Yeah. So that was pretty good. But yeah, they've changed health, resistance, and weapon damage for all kinds of creatures. So I feel like basically it was a 2-step balance pass, and we got the sucky nerf mode for this summer, and now we're getting the back into balance kind of mode. So that's good. There is an awesome feature that I mentioned ahead, but I have tried it with free cam in photo mode now.
Oh yeah.
So as long as you're within the limits of your camp, and this was a surprise, someone else's camp, you have no limit on your photo mode camera.
Oh, that's fun.
So it's really awesome. So, I mean, obviously the limit is the outside of their settlement or camp, but inside you can zoom right around, you can speed it up, slow it down. So you can get all kinds of cool zoomed out pictures, take videos, all that. And the fact that it works in friends' camps as well as your own, that was really good. I liked that. Beyond that, they did say they renamed over 600 camp items. So I mentioned this as a plus last week in Iguana Bits. Turns out
oh no
they did fix some names, but guess what? They're all still in the same places. So it's no more organized. You still can't find anything, and now I don't know the name, so it's actually kind of worse for me.
No, that sucks.
But we'll learn the new names. And
what were you hoping that they would do? How would the organization be better if they put stuff in alphabetical order or? Well, that wouldn't help because they changed the names of stuff, so that wouldn't help you either.
Yeah, I mean, it would ultimately help. But yeah, honestly, the biggest fix is less rows, more columns. Okay, let me explain. Right now, the columns are, the categories across the top. You got all the damn walls, all the floors, all the stairs, all the floor items, all the wall decor, that sort of thing. Well, you could split out your floor decor into a couple of columns. floor decor rugs, floor decor statues, floor decor plants, maybe make a couple extra columns there. Or, same in wall decor art and paintings, and then wall decor other, like make a couple more columns. And then within the columns, consolidate. Because right now you've got 8 rows of rugs. You really only need one row.
One row of rugs. Yes, I get
I
that.
promise you. Yeah, you don't need 8. Or, I mean, if you want to get technical, okay, let's give me a row of mats and a row of decorative rugs. Like, okay, that would be fine. Okay.
Do they do it that way because those rugs were added at a different time than the previous rugs? So they go by updates generally for each row?
It seems to be a combination, yeah, of if they're Atom Shop items and if it was added in an update. But there are some categories that have gone back to a bunch of times. Like, for instance, lights. Okay, lights, the way they're divided are lights that hang from your ceiling, lights that hang on your wall, lights that stand on the ground. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then over time, they've added that. So lights that hang from your ceiling has stuff added, 3 years ago and just last week. So that makes more sense. But then there are like 3 other rows of lights that hang from your ceiling that are just, like, oh, also these. And it doesn't really make sense. Like a lot of it, I mean, some of it's because you learn it from plans, but yeah, just consolidation. Okay. I'm all for it.
I get it.
Yeah, but
absolutely.
so those are the big things I want to mention. There's a lot more in the general Iguana bits if you want to go online and take a look at the update and patch notes.
Uh-huh.
A lot of little balances in I skipped the best one of all.
What's that?
The best one of all. Okay, everybody out there listening, if you haven't been in Appalachia for a while, you might remember that sometimes you had a hankering to go somewhere and you're like, I really want to get there from here. And you went to the map, you clicked the button and nothing happened. And you did it again and nothing happened. And after about 2-3 minutes, you got really angry and shut off the game. Well, they have fixed the fast travel bug. You can now fast travel from somewhere to anywhere every time unless you're attacked.
Nice. That's a
Yeah.
good deal.
Now, this is the biggest problem for bloodied characters. If you weren't bloodied, you didn't have the fast travel bug as often. But anyone bloodied especially would see this all the time. It was very frustrating, especially if you're trying to get to an event before it ends or things like that.
That's interesting that bloodied would be disproportionately
Yeah.
affected by that.
So you know how basically the equation there is, how the game will let you fast travel when you're under attack or taking damage, right?
Yes, right.
Well, as a bloodied character, okay, if you have healing factor as well, you are currently damaged, and healing factor is always trying to nudge you up and heal you, but it can't because you're bloodied and you've got the rads there holding you down. And so it's like these two things fought, and the game thought you were taking damage, or at least not that you were able to move. Kind of like trying to fast travel in survival. If you have a mod that lets you fast travel between settlements, if there's a rad storm, you're going to die every time because it says, "Oh, rads."
took
No, by
rad
the time you got
damage,
to your
yeah.
destination, you're taking too many rad
We're
damage.
dead.
Yeah. So that was my Fallout play this week, and really that's all I played. Was a bunch of
deal.
76 and Fallout 4, mostly focused on the quests.
Did they end up adding the skip the first 20 levels thing?
That is
Started-
not in this
That's
update.
not in
Nope,
the
it was
update?
in the
Okay.
PTS, but they didn't implement that. They did change some perk cards though, so some of the stuff that goes along with it, there are some changes and some new perk cards too.
Nice. Good deal. All right. Thanks, Jess. My gameplay this week. I finished up the Silver Shroud this morning because our good buddy Leon, people from past seasons will remember Leon's a big contributor to the show. He suggested, you got to do the Silver Shroud before going into the Western world, the Dry Rock Gulch. You got to play Silver Shroud. Got to play Silver Shroud. So I finally went back to the mainland and ran through the whole Silver Shroud quest. I started that after I finished all the Kitty Kingdom and the World of Refreshment and the Safari Adventure. After I completed those, I decided, I have a little game time left in me. The new season hasn't started yet, so I'm going to go start the Silver Shroud stuff. And then through the week, I basically did all of the 76 scoreboard daily quest or challenges. Got the weekly challenges done, and when I had all that stuff wrapped up, I still was like, okay, I still want to play some games. What do we have to do? I've completed all my, all my dailies, and the weeklies are all done. Let's go finish that Silver Shroud. So I finished the Silver Shroud stuff this morning. So that was fun. I haven't done that in a very long time, but I just love the over accentuation of all the comments of speak as Shroud is always like a very fun speaking.
It's a good time.
Yeah. But the one thing I was disappointed about is that you go and you get the Silver Shroud costume and the prop gun, and you bring it back to Kent, and he improves the costume so that he actually puts some armor value to it. You get 44 damage resistance for the Silver Shroud costume, and then I was like, oh sweet,
Little by little, yeah.
so I'm gonna go pop some ballistic weave on this bad boy, and then I went and it's not one of the options that you can add. I was so upset. I was like, I fucking know that I've put ballistic weave on this thing in the
Previous
past.
mods have allowed it.
I
Yeah.
must have had a mod on or something, because I know that I did that in the past, but I couldn't do it, and I don't have a ballistic weave mod running right now, and I'm sort of hesitant to add mods this far into a game. I know it's okay to add mods, you just don't want to take stuff away, and I know that's the general philosophy, but I've just got stuff set, and I don't want to tinker too much, you know what I mean? I get into trouble when I start tinkering with stuff too much. So I'm not going to add the ballistic weave to it, but I was just really bummed out that you couldn't get the ballistic weave to it. But
Talk about balance, by the way. So much of the clothing in 4, the fact that you can't wear clothing, like most clothing isn't Under Armour.
Yeah.
So the majority of clothing you wear, even stuff added by Creation Club and all of that, will remove most of your armor. And the idea that the Silver Shroud, it tops out at max DR after all the upgrades at 87 damage resistance. 87. Can you imagine dealing with just 87 in a lot of areas of the game in survival, especially?
Absolutely not. And that's why I don't know if I'm going to be able to go to Dry Rock Gulch as the Silver Shroud, because I assume that you have to actually have the costume on in order for the scripting to acknowledge. It's not like, we now realize that you have finished that quest, so you are now the Silver Shroud no matter what you're wearing. You have to have the costume on.
You have to be dressed as the Shroud, yes.
Okay, and not just the hat, or you have to have the hat and
probably
coat.
Not just the hat.
Okay.
No, I mean, probably you don't need the hat.
I could get away with just the hat, you know what I mean? But I don't think that'll spark the updates. So anyway, I was before I got all involved, I was reading, Kent will buff your Shroud costume. Yep. And then after I finished it, I go up to Kent and I'm like, all right, buddy, here we go. And he's just like, man, I just got tortured. I need some time off. And I'm like, but what about my costume buff? And I was reading more, and I was like, oh, he already did it. That was the original 40 whatever buff that he put on it. That was the buff that Kent does. Does he do another round of improvements?
Yeah, he'll do subsequent as you level up. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I need to revisit him. I guess he's just so traumatized by the torture guy. He's like, I got tortured. It's nothing like it is in the radio plays.
Yeah. YouTube can sleep it off, right? Just sleep 3 days. He can sleep 3 days.
Yeah, so I need to go revisit him and see if he'll buff the armor again, and then maybe I can tolerate that. But I remember the bloodworms and the Dry Rock Gulches being fucking brutal. So I don't know if I can get away with only 40 or 80 damage DR there for
just put it on for conversations.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll put it on a hotkey and do that. That sounds like a good plan. Let's see. So Silver Shroud, Kitty Kingdom, we'll get into that in a little bit, but it sounds you guys had a little less trouble than I did, but I was really not prepared for the radiation there. I remember Kitty Kingdom not being that big of a deal, and it just took me almost 2 days to get to the castle door, so that was a pain in my ass. Also, I don't know exactly what I did, but I have the Brotherhood patrolling fucking everywhere I go. There's 2 Brotherhood soldiers in power
and they
armor
love
stomping
you, right?
around. Yeah. I'm like, what? I don't know what happened within the last week, but they are seriously everywhere I go. And they got in a shootout with Travis. I have Travis with me, and he and the Brotherhood would just shoot each other, shoot bang, 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 bang. They'd make Travis take a knee. He'd fall down. They'd stop shooting. I'd be like, what's going on, you guys? And Travis would stand up and then bang, bang, bang. They'd all start exchanging fire again. They did that in the memory den. They did it out in the streets of Good Neighbor. They're just shooting each other all the time. What the fuck is going on here, you guys? Quit shooting Travis, please. I need him. But they're just... Every time I fast travel somewhere, there's 2 Brotherhood guys stomping around, making a big fuss and making noise and stuff. And they don't seem to be helping a lot in battle. If I got there and a couple of Mirelurks popped up, they'd just kind of stand there while I do all the battling. and then they go like start shooting Travis or something. I'm like, what script here is happening that they're not helping me, and then they're attacking Travis as soon as all the battles are over? Like I just don't get what is happening here.
Have you tried? I mean, obviously you haven't, but you could try, helping Travis out, letting him rest for a minute and see if maybe then they're more helpful.
Kill the Brotherhood? Because I'm all for that. But I've got that Squire with me, so I don't know if he wouldn't like that very much, I don't think.
No, I'm saying help Travis actually do his quest and go back to, the radio station.
We know that's not going to happen.
I mean, I was thinking you could try it for science, but then,
No way. No Travis help.
It is interesting they're traveling with you.
He's got to stay with me.
I like to imagine that he's just, as you're traveling, he's like, can we go back to the brewery yet?
Remember,
and then you're just like, we'll do that next week.
Remember last year when you said you'd help me?
Right?
No, I don't recall that at all, Travis. Let's go over here. Yeah.
Day 200 of my servitude.
No, we're not going to help Vadim or whatever his name is. So I want you guys, when we get to the quest, to tell me how to get the Nuka-Cola power armor. I think Ray mentioned there's a holotape or a pass card or something on the roof, but I need you guys to tell me where that is because I want to go back. I have maxed out my lock picking, but I can't do hacking because I want to keep my intelligence as low as possible to get my idiot savant to proc all the time. And I've passed level 105 now, so this is now officially, well, I think it already was, but by far the most leveled Fallout character I've ever had. Well, no, I can't say that because 76. I have like a
600. 98, Andrew. 98.
Wow, Jess, that's really
I
impressive.
might catch you.
You're not even doing Idiot Savant either. That's
well, I am. I do have it. It was one of my assigned perks. I'm just intelligence 9 and now 10 because I've leveled it up. Well,
yeah, but you're not doing the reload over and over and over again. So you're making me realize all the hours I've spent doing that might just be a waste of time.
I mean, it's kind of like when you were grabbing all the endurance gear early game. I'm like, Andrew, I get going for all the endurance gear, but you're taking 4 hours looking for one piece. If you just spent that trying to fight things and level, that might also help.
And, I'd spent all that time looking for the captain's hat or whatever it's called. And I've found 35 of those fucking things. They're like all over the place. Now that you're not looking for it, they're all over the place. It's one of those things. All right, let's see. What else have I gotten into? Oh, Shelter. I've been playing tons of my survival Shelter. That's pretty much what I've spent most of my gameplay on, I would say. I'm having a grand old time staggering the rooms and like logging in for just like 30 or 40 seconds, collecting everything, doing the on the mobile phone version. There's like you can watch an advertisement and get free pet carriers and lunch boxes and Nuka-Cola quantums and such. So I've been doing that a lot, and I've gotten so many Nuka-Cola quantums that usually I just have a bunch of those. I don't really use them very much, but I've found that it's very important in the survival mode version to have max efficiency in all your rooms. So I've been training people up a lot and then using those Nuka-Cola quantum bottles almost immediately as soon as I get them to train people up in their skills and then transfer them over and keep the ladies perma-pregnant where like they have a baby and get them pregnant again right away so they don't have to fight and everything. But also passing 50 dwellers means that I now have all sorts of stuff attacking. Like I'm getting mole rats attack all the time now, especially since the rooms are staggered. Mole rats can only attack rooms that are exposed to dirt. Since everything's staggered, every room is exposed to dirt, so I'm getting lots of mole rat attacks. And staggering the rooms I thought was really smart. It works well with the fire, and like rad roaches and stuff like that. They don't spread from room to room. But I thought, this will be a good way to deal with the death claws too. I've gotten a few death claw attacks now that I've passed 50 dwellers, and the death claws will go to the elevator, go down into the room, and then they'll go back up the elevator to the other direction of the other room too. Like they get all over the whole thing. They'll backtrack. They'll go to rooms they haven't hit yet. They go all over. They're not as dumb as the other bad guys in the game. They will actually. The staggering does nothing to thwart the death claws at all. So, but since I I've gotten a little more powerful. I was just scattering all the people if like a raider attack happened, or now there was an update. I don't know, last year sometime. I think it's when they started doing the alien events in '76. We got an update where you could have an alien pet follower, and then
Yeah, we had the alien event and the turkey event and the Halloween event. They had a bunch last
Yeah.
year at the shelter.
And so now bands of aliens will attack. Like they're basically the same thing as raiders, except for there's 6 bands of 6 instead of bands of 4, and you can get some weapons and caps and stuff with them if you tap on the little dead aliens after they attack. So I've gotten a better round of weapons, so I'm not scattering people anymore. I'm actually fighting the raiders each time, so I'm starting to get better gear, and I'm not doing running away nearly as much as my fight technique. So it's been good to actually pick up and get more rewards and stuff like that. So I'm just having a good old time in Fallout Shelter, as always. My favorite Fallout game. Blasphemy, I know, but I'm having lots of fun with it. So that's been my gameplay for this week. Before we roll into our quest, I thought that might play another version of
Pigcorn?
What time is it?
Game Time. So you guys, this week on Game Time, I brought another edition of
Pigcorn?
Yes, thank you. And Pigcorn this week. And as I was writing this list, I was like, oh, fuck. I think we've totally done this before. It's like
We probably have.
as I was writing them out, I was like, I remember doing this before in the past, but hopefully it wasn't like this season too recently or something like that. So this week we are playing titled implements in Pigcorn. In a brief reintroduction, Pigcorn is I'll just give you not audio clues. I'll just give you some verbal clues. Sort of say synonyms of words that I'm trying to get you to guess. And this week's category is named weapons in Fallout 4.
Oh, weapons. Okay.
Named
wow.
weapons in Fallout 4. All right, so just buzz in with your name if you know. We've got Ray, we've got Swearl, and we've got Jess here. So just pop in with your name if you think you have a good guess at what this Pigcorn clue is. So let's roll into
Pigcorn?
Let's do it. Okay. The first one is Christmas's Kid. Christmas's Kid. Ray.
December's Child.
December's Child. Good job, Ray. Next one. The Bringer.
Jess.
Jess, I heard you first.
Deliverer?
Deliverer. Absolutely. All right.
Sorry, Swearl.
You're good.
Next one. Jackknife. The Jackknife. This one was the hardest one for me to come up with, and it's kind of a long stretch of a clue. Jackknife. Any guessers? Any guess?
Oh,
Swirl.
Swirl.
Pikmin's blade.
Nope. Any others?
it's a good one, though. I'm thinking something stiletto, but no.
Ray, have a guess?
I thought about Chance's knife, but wrong game.
Yeah, that's New Vegas, right?
Yep.
All right. Back in the day when I was a little kid and you jump in the pool, you do a cannonball, but a cannonball that you only hold up one knee to your chest and you extend the leg out to do a move that's called a jackknife. But also, that move is also referred to as a gainer. Anyone ever heard that? Is that too much of a colloquialism from the Midwest?
I mean, I've heard of the die of a gainer, but I've never heard of it
the jackknife
quite that way. Yeah.
Yeah, Gloria Gaynor. I mean, that's about all I've heard of.
Oh,
Nope.
man, I could have gone with Gloria Gaynor. Yeah. Damn, didn't think. All right, this next one is great. Tony the Tiger's revolver.
Ray. Kellogg's pistol.
Kellogg's pistol. Good job. Next one up is 1,000 tons of decayed uranium gun.
Ray. Kiloton rifle.
The kiloton radium rifle. Absolutely. Next one. The conclusion moment. The conclusion moment. Ray keeps
Ray.
laughing. Ray.
Last chance.
I'll give it to you. The last minute. It's called the last,
The last
minute.
minute man.
Jay knows, Ray knows the name
Ray's-
of all these
he's- he's
weapons.
knows
I don't
these
even
weapons.
know most of them. I always forget them.
All right. You'll all don't hit each other all scrambling to the finish line for this one. The terrible French gun.
Jess,
Jess.
Le Fils Terrible.
La Fosse Terrible. Absolutely. Up next, we've got The Boss's Protector. The Boss's Protector. Jess, I see you nodding. Do you want to guess?
Yeah, I was gonna see if anyone else knew it. Jess, Overseer's Guardian.
Overseer's Guardian. Perfect. Good job. All right, up next we got 4 more here, guys. I'm not going to go on forever and ever. The Predicament Decipherer. Predicament Decipherer.
I've got that one. Go for it, Swearl.
Swearl?
Problem solver.
The Problem Solver. Perfect. All right, coming up next, we've got Miss McIntyre the Second. Miss McIntyre the Second.
Squirrel.
Swirl.
Reba 2.
Reba 2 is the answer. Good job, Swirl. All
Good
right,
one.
got 2 more here. Penultimate is Virtuous Expert. The Virtuous Expert.
Swirl.
Swirl.
Righteous Authority.
Righteous Authority. Nailed it. Good job. And our last one tonight, the Splash Mortar. Splash Mortar.
Ray.
Ray.
Splatter cannon.
The Splatter Cannon. Good job, you guys. That is a very perfect addition of
Pigcorn?
Pigcorn. Actually, no, there was one. Oh, you missed the jack. But that was a bad clue on my part. I should have said the Gloria gun, I guess.
Don't know that we would have known.
No,
Gainer
you would have
anyway.
got that anyway. I don't know. How do you explain that one? Was it the accumulator?
There you go.
I don't know.
I've been running with the gainer, so I feel like I should have known that one.
Yeah, it's a fun 44. Yeah. All right, you guys, good job on the Pigcorn for this week. Let's go ahead and roll into some quests. Hey, Jess, I had lots of trouble with Kitty Kingdom. You seem to not have nearly as much trouble with Kitty Kingdom.
Oh, it was rough. It was, I mean, like I was telling y'all, the rads were way worse than expected. And we'll hear from some feedback because I've heard from other people they didn't have as much trouble with it, whether they decided to, resort to power armor or something else to kind of make up the difference. But yeah, I didn't want to wear power armor. So I did everything I could to deal with the rads. I would, of course, take the... I also don't have Ghoulish like some of you do.
Oh, yeah, the Madhouse or Mad
Or
Rock.
Mad Rock,
Mad
yeah.
Rock,
Yep.
right.
And I don't have the Mysterious Serum like Ray has. I know that probably helped
Oh,
him a lot.
yeah, cheater.
So I was running Radex, and because I have Curie as my companion, and she's got a synth body now, and we've become close. I finally got that romance blossoming with her. I'm getting some Curie stim packs or Curie health packs, I think they're called. So I've been stocking up on those as something to help. I had like 4 of them going in, maybe 5. And what they are, instead of, how she always gives you the random stim pack when she's in a robot body. Well, when she's in a synth body and you've got the right affinity, she starts giving these to you. And it's essentially like only plus 10 health or something, like a small health, maybe plus 4 health, but it's minus 300 rads. So it's like a fantastic rad away.
Uh-huh. And survival mode, does it like also have the super horrible negative effects that Radaway and Radex give you? Does it like make you super thirsty and like tired and hungry and make you hate your mother for some reason? And
yeah, no, I was at like a kid at their first buffet. One hand like just shoving stuff in my face while the other hand is injecting. Okay, kids hopefully aren't doing inject at the buffets. But you get the idea. I was double fisting meds and pills and food and water and it was a real mess. But anyway, it's the rads there are bad. So basically, for those who haven't done it yet, what we're talking about is Kitty Kingdom. As soon as you start walking inside, the rads are pretty thick. Okay, they're all over the ground, and then there are these misters. And there are areas where it's denser than others, and then there are these misters, which essentially, sprinklers for kids who are it's too hot and they need to cool off, and it's a great time. Of course, they spray irradiated water.
Oh my God, so dense radiated water. It's like, 60 rads a second fucking radiated water. It is crazy thick.
It is crazy thick. And when you're not in it, even the regular, I mean, with everything I had going on, I was usually averaging 3 rads per second throughout most of the park, sometimes more. And then when the ghouls hit you, so there are painted ghouls in this park as well. And the painted ghouls that hit you, they deal some rads in there. I found them pretty tough. I found them tougher than any other creatures, tougher than gator claws, tougher than Nuka lurks. And it's funny because we're hearing different things from different people as far as what they found difficult. But the reason I found them bad was because if they got close enough to hit me at that point, the rads plus everything else, I mean, they just took me out in 3 hits, no problem.
Yeah.
Maybe 2, but usually 3. But if I had enough rads and I also had refreshing beverages to wipe the rads. Like I had stocked up a bunch of healing stuff to help with this, which is kind of how I survived. But yeah, so you get in there and, you're greeted over the intercom by Oswald, the ghoul. And you have to kind of make your way to him. So you get the quest pop up. It's called A Magical Kingdom is the actual name of the quest in Kingdom. And you get a kind of map markers to check out 3 locations: the theater, the fun house, and the tunnels. Okay, so you have to make your way through this kitty kingdom, which is, of course, a bit of a maze as well. You ever been to
A lot of bit of a maze.
Yeah, a lot of bit of a maze, like, kind of kids theme park thing with all kinds of like narrow areas and a bunch of rides. And I mean, it's a cute place, teacups and all kinds of fun stuff if you have time to enjoy it, which I did not.
I definitely stood in front of a map 2 or 3 times, getting irradiated, trying to figure out where to go.
That's the worst thing, right? Because you go to pull up a map and you can't. Like, I mean, obviously, if you open your Pip-Boy, you're better off in the Pip-Boy. But even then,
it doesn't tell you much.
No,
Mm-mm.
it's like you can be like, oh, I got to go east or west.
It's got that X-ray vision map that everything looks flat,
Yeah.
so you can't really figure out.
Go up or down.
It may look like a little line on the ground, but it's actually a 10-foot wall.
Yep.
So that it's rough. So essentially, you want to get to these locations to find things. And like you're saying, actually navigating there can be tough. Now, one cool bonus that I have that made it easier for me is your girl has that jetpack mod.
Oh.
And yeah, I might have made use of it once or twice. So
Can you just fly above it? Does radiation go up?
You can somewhat. You can actually, you can get above it. Yeah, like if you go up high enough. That's not a problem. But, landing is still difficult. And, you might hurt yourself and you still have to be precision on where you get to. So I used it twice. After I was dying a bit trying to make it somewhere, I decided, okay, you know what? If I remember right, I can shut off the misters in the tunnels. So I was all excited. I'm like, I'm going to go to the tunnels first, which are on the back side of the castle. I'm going to go to the tunnels first, and that will let me get in there. So when I got stuck once or twice, I just kind of flew over the building. I made it to the tunnels. I got in there, and there's a cool scene where you see Oswald painting a ghoul, and he's talking to the ghoul. And you can tell, he cares for all these ghouls around here, and he's like, you got to put on your costume. Your costume helps kind of keep the place safe. It scares the raiders away, and he's got this whole relationship, just Oswald, with all these painted ghouls around the park. And he refers to it as their costume and stuff. So that was kind of interesting to see. But after he's done with that and
cool.
he leaves, you go in there and you can you take the ghoul out. And there's a place where, by the way, this area too, in the tunnels, you guys might have done other things first, so we'll talk about yours, but I'll finish the tunnels first. So you get in there, and it's at the very back of the castle and down in by these little teacups, which are merrily going around the park pretty fast, like these carts. And if they hit you, they do damage you, so that's not great. And the ghouls aren't great, and they're all over you, and it was a pain. But once you get in there and in this place, after the conversation, you kind of have to walk around the generator area, and turns out this is where the water intake was for all the misters. But now it's completely green and irradiated. So to get over to this location, you're going to take yourself some real rad damage, unless you have a jetpack, in which case you jump over most of it, and you're like, oh, thank God. So you get in there, you turn them off, and you're like, winning. You get out, you walk through tunnels, you leave the park, and you're like, I'm a genius. This was definitely the best thing to do first.
Yeah.
So you exit and you try to figure out where you are, walking along the edge of the wall, and you don't get more than like 5 feet and a few ghouls in before someone says, ha ha. And the voice of Oswald comes back over the speaker and he turns them back on.
He turns them fucking back
Ooh,
on.
you turned off the misters. You're going great now, aren't you?
But
wait.
I was like, he wasn't in that room. He's not there anymore. Like, how did he have control? And then I figured it out later. Oh, he does have another control terminal for that elsewhere. So
Yeah, and he can poof around too. Like
Yeah,
he has
he-
this ability to poof.
he is a magician after all.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oswald the Magnificent. What's his name?
Oswald the
Yeah.
outrageous,
the
Yeah.
outrageous.
Outrageous,
Okay.
like Jem.
Yeah, the the thing about those ghouls too is they're the buried ghouls, so they crawl up out of the ground. You know, the tiniest little pile of rubble, can be concealing one of these
Turn into
ghouls.
a ghoul.
They hide, just like the Mirelurks later, the Nuka Lurks later
Oh
hide
Lord.
too. Luckily, vatsing them because I am using Kellogg's pistol and Deliverer in a Vats build. You can sometimes see them vatsing, but other times you don't. You know what I mean? Like they're so small that you don't really catch them.
Yeah.
So I did the tunnels first, like I'm saying, and then the other stuff. What did you guys do first? Like anyone else?
I tried to go into the tunnels, but I kept getting killed by the fucking little carts going by. I'd be
They are
like,
a
okay,
pain.
1, 2, 3, no, okay, 1, 2, 3, no, okay, wait, 1, 2, 1, 2, go. Just like I couldn't time it out right, and then I would get almost to the door, and then bam, it hit me and kill me every time, just because my radiation was so high that I didn't have any damage resistance left over. So like. Oh, that was super fucking frustrating. And another super frustrating part was, like, Jess, you mentioned that the turns are really tight. It's everything's really close together, and you turn a corner and you can't see what's around the corner, but everything was so tight that I could not use my explosive pistol because I kept killing myself, because they would run out from around the corner
Right.
from nowhere, and I'd bam 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 and end up killing dog meat and me, and Travis
In your
would be
face.
sitting on his butt. Yeah, everything was in your face immediately. There was no space to line up shots and everything. So I was doing the thing where, like, I kept dying over and over again because I would kill myself. I'd get too irradiated. There'd be 8 ghouls in my face all of a sudden out of nowhere. But then I would figure out where everything was, and I'd just like start tossing grenades after I learned where everything was, since I died so many times. So I started using grenades just because I'd figured out where they were sleeping before they could stand up. I figured that was the best way to kill them, is to kill them before they're activated. And another thing I wanted to bring up were the little token machines. I found the Ferris wheel is a token machine.
medallion ones,
The
yeah.
medallions, is that what they're called?
Yep.
And I was just wondering, is that just a collection thing? Is there a point to that? Is there a benefit for collecting all the medallions for each ride in an area?
So, if you talk to Nira in Nuka Town, USA, she gives you a quest for all the medallions. I don't
Oh,
remember
nice.
exactly what she gives you for them, but there is a quest for it.
Well, probably just some caps, but
Yeah, it might just be XP and caps, but it's a good one to do on your way. I've got 3 of them so far.
Nice. I've gotten a few. I didn't know if I should like go back and make a checklist and be sure to get all of them, if there was like a real good benefit to it. Or
Medallions and cappies, I'm planning on kind of going back and doing after. You know what I mean? If I get some on the way,
Yeah.
that's fine. If not, I'll get them later.
It's like I'm gonna have to go back and get that Nuka Cola power armor from the next section.
How about you, Swear? Have you been collecting the medallions or cappies?
So it's pretty much the same for the medallions. As if I come across them, I'll grab them. If I remember there's one in an area, I'll like go grab one.
Mhm.
But so what is her name? Sierra Petrovita or whatever?
Yeah. Mhm.
She's completely bugged out in my game. I can't talk to her at all. I
No.
can't start
No.
the Cappy's quest. So
Oh,
I
that's
could
so
I could
sad. She's the best.
I could probably cheat my way through it, but I just haven't yet. So like every time I run past her, I talk to her, I'm like, hey, she's just dead silent, did nothing. I'm like, cool. And I just keep moving. But yeah, I might
That's
go
too
back
bad.
and talk to her later to get into what is it, Brad Burton's bunker or whatever. But
Yep.
yeah, at the moment I can't do it at all.
And she's from a previous game, right? Is she from Fallout
Yeah.
3 or something?
Yeah, she and Ronald live in the town of Girdershade in Fallout 3.
Yeah.
She's the one with the Nuka Cola collection in the museum.
Right, has a little town of Nuka Cola there too. Yeah.
Yeah, and Ronald's the one who's all hot to trot. And yeah, she's a great character. I like her a lot. She gives you the whole quantum quest in Fallout 3, so it's good to have her come back for Nuka World. Bring
That's
back some
cool.
favorites.
It's always really fabulous to see characters from previous games in the current game. It's like, oh, hey, I know you.
Mhm.
Are they careful about bringing back the same voice actors and that sort of stuff for recurring characters?
Most of the time.
Good,
Yeah.
Good.
Yep. I'm not sure they did for Sarah, but I think so.
I wouldn't be able to tell. How about you,
So
Ray?
you might think that the mysterious serum is cheating.
It's not?
I make up for it by one of my environmental mods blurs the screen when you're taking radiation.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sucks.
So even though I'm not taking any damage from the radiation, I can't see.
You can't see the ghouls coming right at your face.
Fortunately, the ghouls in Kitty Kingdom are painted, and the Nuka lurks glow. So that was all pretty simple.
Gator claws?
The turrets, I couldn't see the turrets.
Oh no!
Especially those missile turrets.
Yeah, the missile turrets were booger.
That surprised me the first time I walked in that castle doors. Is like bam bam. I was like, fuck! It was an hour ago I last saved. God damn it!
I knew that they were there, and I thought that maybe my sneak might help me there. But as soon as the doors open,
the doors move, they fire. Yeah.
Yeah. So for that, I ended up standing on the rail to the bridge, hit the button to open the door, and then jumped in the water real quick. And I could hear the explosions behind me. And then I climbed back out and went back over the bridge and took him out.
That's good.
With a gun.
I think I told dog meat or cat meat to go walk towards there. I stepped back. Like, go trigger that door for me, please.
Yeah, as far as going through the areas, it was all pretty simple. They're nice and spaced out. Because I have sneak, high sneak. I never really had gangs of ghouls, and even if I did, with the Ripper, it's kind of fun to get them lined up. So, I'll line up like 2 or 3 ghouls close together, and then that's the first one and blitz them, and it takes out all 3.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Not quite sure how this thing has such a big area of effect. It's also why I can't have any followers because Cito went down so many times.
Oh no.
Just in that opening sequence. Before I could kick him to the curb and get him out of the way. But yeah, it's pretty menacing. And so early on, this build was really tedious and was really hard to play.
Now you're OP.
But now I've got my sneak to 4. I've got both levels of blitz, and now I'm kind of an unstoppable monster.
What is your legendary effect on your
stagger on the Ripper?
Yeah, on the Ripper.
Nice.
This Ripper's doing 360 damage.
Why does it have an area effect? What causes that?
I'm not sure. I think just because it's the blade is I've got the extended blade and it's nutso. But so the DPS multiplier on the Ripper, because it's very fast, is 6.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really every hit, every second, I'm doing 2160 damage.
God damn! There's a 6 times multiplier on the whatever 300, and good lord,
because it's a very fast weapon.
Wow. I remember when I had that much melee damage for a little while.
Jess had that cool bug.
Remember I was saving it to get out a free jail card and then lost it before I could really even use it?
Yeah, what'd you do? You modded something and you modded it out, right?
Yeah, it just went away.
Yeah, fortunately I can mod my Ripper, and so I put the better motor and the longer blade on it. So I didn't take blacksmith, so I couldn't put the hook blade on it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, but you did ultimately manage to get past those turrets. So before we get to the castle, Funhouse. Okay, I just have to say I really love that. I think it was a fun adventure. Yes, it's dangerous, sure, and it even you have to go slow because they will kill you. But I mean, it's just a ton of fun going through there. The glass walls, hollow mirror things, that was decent. But when you get to the spinny things and the various like rotating tubes, and I just thought that was really, really cool. Did anyone have any particular difficulty or fun part in the funhouse?
I forgot that.
So
one.
you
Go
can
ahead.
turn. There is a terminal that lets you turn down the nausea.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
did notice
reduced
that.
nausea mode.
I didn't use it. Did you?
Do they
Did you find
spend?
that?
Do they spend less quickly, or do they stop
Yeah.
altogether?
No,
They
no, they
slow.
don't stop altogether. They slow down. They're still going.
There was one spinning tunnel that I forgot there was a space in, and I fell down into the water,
Oh,
and I was like, "Oh
yeah.
fuck!" I had to go back
Yeah.
through that and go to the spinning room again, and oh lord.
And I love the room with all the doors. You know, it's got the big spinning wheel floor. And so I was crouched down outside. I had the deliverer, and I would open the door and then bang, 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 just shoot a bunch of times into the room
Yep.
and occasionally hit somebody as they're moving around. And then the door had shut. You open it back up, bang, 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 bang.
Same strategy. And not only that, the ghouls will open it for you. So if you stand back near the back of the tunnel, just every once in a while, the ghouls going by, they flip it open. So then you can shoot. Or maybe it's dog meat that opened it for me, whichever. Nope, for a bit, I'd shoot
Good
and then
boy.
it closed again. Yeah, I got like half of them that way before I finally got brave enough to get in there and take out the rest.
Yeah. Yeah. I ended up killing them all before I ever went in there.
I was very ineloquent the way it's like I just sort of get in there and is it this door? No. Is it this door? No. Like, is there a good way to navigate that room, or is it just sort of always chaotic and spinning?
No,
like
it's
crazy?
always chaotic,
Okay. There's no way to
which is
stop
the fun
or
of it.
anything.
No.
Yeah, the various doors that you can go through. And
But I
it's
love it if
just a
you
good
get
time.
a little bit too far past the door when it opens and you just can't quite get jumped in.
Go. Oh, gotta wait. I'll catch it next round.
And then-
nope.
and
I'll
then
catch
you
it next round. Nope. I'll catch
Yeah.
it next round.
Yeah. And when you go, by the time you go around, it's already closed again.
Yeah.
You got to remember which one was it?
Oh, you got to count the doors. What color is it? Oh, damn it! No, was it that one?
You just, how many was it? One of them has a flame trap.
Yeah, no fun. Swirl, you're about to say something there.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, when you miss it, you don't remember which one it is, so you're just open all the doors down the line again,
Yeah.
and then you get the explosion and you die. And
Yep.
You gotta do
I'm
it
sorry.
all over again.
Yep. It was like the third or fourth one I opened. So I actually did okay in that room.
One thing,
And I didn't bother checking them all. It was not the time to be
Yeah,
curious.
there's not enough
No.
good loot in any of those rooms to make it worth getting into.
just look for the.
I know
exit.
there's a Cappy in one of them.
Yeah.
But
if you're doing
other
that,
than
you
that-
have to do it. But yeah.
One thing I did notice while going through there and in the theater, Oswald pops up and to taunt you and stuff like that. There's a treadmill room where he's up behind a glass wall where like you could try to attack him, but nothing's going to happen. Same with the theater. He pops up on the upper balcony of the theater set.
Yeah.
I noticed. I was just like, okay, whatever. I'm going to try it. Due to great VAT skills and the penetrator skill, I was able to damage him down to where he would sit down. Like he was marked, not invincible, whatever that's called, but where you can't die. So I couldn't actually kill him, but I could do damage to Oswald through the walls
Really?
because of the penetrator perk. I was like, oh, that's awesome. I'm going to kill him early, but that would totally wreck the ending of
Right.
the quest, so they're not going to let
So-
you do that.
But and it doesn't let you kill him because
He's essential, yeah.
the
Yeah,
one
essential,
time
that's
I
the
had a
word.
chance to VATS him, I mean his health went down to 0.
yeah. He doesn't
And-
die.
He just disappears.
Yeah, he poofs and goes away. Yeah, so I thought that was cool.
Anything else on the funhouse, y'all?
I will say that I didn't run into the glitch this time, but the last time I played Nuka World, when I went through Kitty Kingdom, I did like the tunnels and the castle first, and then I did the
Oh.
fun house. And
Okay.
Oswald completely glitched to the point where he would stay in that position at the console by the time
no.
you enter the room, and you can't talk to him. It completely glitches out the whole quest.
Oh no!
So, to get
Do the
around
castle
that,
last. Yeah.
you have to do the funhouse first.
Oh, okay. I
Funhouse
was gonna say
first.
or second.
Funhouse
Yeah.
before the castle, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the theater and stuff. That makes sense because he expects to go from the theater to the roof. Like he doesn't expect to go anywhere else.
Right.
So I can see that being
Yeah.
a problem. Never tried it in that order. I mean, I guess the game expects you to go to Funhouse first because it's closest, but this time I didn't. And there was part of me said, "Oh, what if I go into the theater now?" But I didn't do that because I was actually worried about something like that happening.
Yep. I didn't it was my first time playing through Nuka World. I had no idea what was going on. So I just did that first. And then I looked it up. I'm like, why isn't this happening? I had to redo the entire Kitty Kingdom section. I was so mad. But yeah,
For
so
sure.
Did you just say this is only your second time through Nuka World? How many times have you played this, Swearl?
yeah, second time through Nuka World.
Nice.
And the first time through, the only reason I cleared the parks was because I thought I had to turn on the power to get home. I completely missed the fact that you could just leave anytime.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's hilarious, but I totally believe that. I've actually, now that you mention it, I think I thought the same thing, that you had to finish it before you could leave.
Yeah, and then I'm like, oh, so I cleared all the parks. The power should be on. And then I'm like, but the power is still not on. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? And yeah, so I was like, I actually had to look up. I'm like, oh, there's a power plant that I have to go find. Where's this power plant? So
I have found that Nuka World must be the section I've played in the game the least, because I found, whenever I do anything in the mainland, especially when you're in survival mode and you have to run the streets, instead of fast traveling, that I have pathways mapped out and all downtown and on the north side and south side of the city. Like the Commonwealth, I have, a very good, comfortable familiarity with. The Far Harbor, I also found like, oh yeah, I remember this. Oh yeah, I remember this. I know you have to go here. Okay, there's going to be something around this corner. I know all that. Okay, there's going to be something here and there. Nuka World is a fucking mystery to me. Like I must have played it the least out of all the DLCs or what. Just like I walked into Kitty Kingdom and was like, I'm doing that Gandalf thing where it's like, I have no memory of this place. You're just like, what is going on here? So it has been it's fun to play again, but it's still like, it's kind of like the first time all over again. Yeah. Good deal. All right, so let's go kill Oswald.
Wrap it up. So you get into that castle, hopefully by those two missiles, the quad missile launcher and the other missile launcher that'll get you when you go through the door. Once again, jetpack can be a savior there if you fly to the top of the wall and let them hit below you.
Yeah,
that did help.
Smart.
Yeah, I died there twice before I thought of it, though, of course, because you don't always think of such things.
As one does.
But you dig your way into the castle and ultimately the theater. To me, this was the most dangerous place with the ghouls. They ganged up on me a couple times there. There are misters hidden around the corners and stuff. So there's a lot of rads happening. Once you get into the theater, Oswald gives a big old speech. He talks about you as being a raider.
Yeah,
and,
he does.
He essentially like, you're coming in here to kill. And honestly, this time listening, I couldn't disagree. Like in a way, like what you're doing going in there, why are you he lives here, you don't.
Yeah.
You are, even if you're not working for the Raiders, even if you're doing it separately, you're still coming into his home, killing all his buddies. And I mean, they're feral ghouls.
Yeah.
Okay. But he has an affinity for them and talks about them as his friends. So you fight him there and, in the middle of the theater among the seats, and you can feel good about killing him. But once again, even if you get him all the way down health-wise and he dies, he doesn't actually die. He poofs away up to the roof and says, you can find me upstairs.
Poof to the roof.
Yep. And then the rest of it's pretty simple. You can go through the back of the theater. You find your way to the roof along some stairs and boardwalk. And up there is when you can have a real conversation with him. And so, talking to him, you learn about kind of where it depends how you play it. I mean, you can go right in and attack him right away, but you can talk about how, they're not just sick. He talks about the other ghouls having the affliction or being ill, that some of them, he actually knew them. Some of them were his friends before they went fully feral, but he doesn't admit that they're feral. He thinks they just have an affliction and there's got to be a cure for them. And he had sent out, his girlfriend to go look for a cure. Is it Rachel? Is that her name?
Rachel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So they're out there you're getting that whole backstory, and you learn that basically he and a bunch of the other Kitty Kingdom Park workers had holed up here, and they've lived here for a while, and slowly, became ghouls because of the radiation that got into the area, and they lived it for a long time. But then one by one, either people died because of raider attacks that increased, over time a bit, especially at first, or they would, go feral and lose their minds, and so they're down to just a couple of them. And ultimately, Rachel left to go find a cure for this. And Oswald said he'd stay here with their friends, take care of him. Well, this was I don't remember the exact time. I don't know if I got through the time this time, but I feel like it's been a good years, decades since she left.
Do they ever actually say how long it's been? Because I don't think they do.
I
completely missed it.
Yeah, they didn't this time that I saw. I feel like in a previous playthrough, there was something that hinted that it had been like, 60, 70 years. Like it had been decades and decades. But I couldn't find it this time on any of the terminals or anything. So I might have just made that up.
And I think time means something different to ghouls too. You know what I mean? Like vampires or whatever. Time means something different to them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's how he's dealing with it. But you can take a couple of paths here. You can attack him, or you can, use your charisma and give him, rhythm up and basically convince him to take off. And either that Rachel, if she's out there, needs his help to go and help her, or that the ghouls are feral and there's nothing you can do for them anyway. Yeah. And better off if you guys are both looking or what have you. And, there's a couple paths you can take. So the one I did was essentially she could use your help, and he agreed.
And Ray, what was your path?
So I used the holotape,
which is found
on Rachel's body in Bradburton, the city in the northeast of the Nuka World map. And
have you played Nuka World a ton of times, so you were familiar with? I need to go get this tape before I go for this interaction.
Not a ton of times. Definitely it's I probably played Automatron less all the way through.
Yeah.
But I haven't done it a lot. There isn't much here that I really want as far as, stuff in the game.
Yeah.
Which is what motivates me to go most places and do things I do.
Absolutely.
Is to get stuff. Occasionally I'll come
treasures.
Get Cito's Shiny Slugger.
That's a fun one. Yeah.
It. So I did know of the tape from before. So I went and picked it up. I didn't really need it because I could have convinced him anyway.
How does he react?
He's shocked, and he blames himself for having her leave on her own, and so he's distraught, and blames himself for her death.
Well, and I think that I did the holotape too, and I think that he doesn't accept that there is no cure. I think he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go find it myself." Then
yeah, he's still convinced, but
yeah. Well, let's take a listen to that holotape real quick.
I think this is it. I can't go any further. I can feel it taking me.
Sorry, that's not funny.
Gotta keep it together a little longer.
Little funny?
Oswald, I'm sorry. I've looked everywhere I could think, but there's no cure.
There's a cure. Shotgun.
What towns and outposts I could find said that we ghouls just go feral eventually, and there's nothing to be done. Maybe it was the misters. Held out. As long as I can. I know this isn't what you'd want, but I can't stand the thought of mindlessly attacking everyone around me. So I've decided to end it on my own terms. I don't know why it hasn't affected you the same, but if you still held it together, I want you to move on. Leave Nuka World. You can still make a life out there. It's not all as bad as we thought. I love you, Oz.
Did the radiation give Oswald his magic powers, or was he a magician before becoming a ghoul?
He was a magician before, but of course, he talks about how he got real magic now because the fact that glowing ones get the skill where, they can heal
the others, right?
ghouls around them and stuff. So he considers that his real magic. But he was already Oswald the Outrageous. He would perform regularly. And so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's sad. Her body is laying next to a small, camp that she built inside of a broken down house. And she's got a 10mm pistol in her hand, and is laying there dead.
That's one way to do it.
And she couldn't make it back to him. Like by the time she had done looking and was convinced there was no cure, obviously she was probably heading back to him, but just couldn't make it.
It's like a 10-minute walk from there.
Well, that is the thing about scale of Bethesda games, because I'm sitting here thinking the exact same thing. Like, come the heck on. But no, it's all about scale, right? It was just a lot further, Andrew.
Yeah. Because did you check the clock? It might have been 10 minutes for you.
Oh, yeah, but it's like 6 days and
maybe she was
Nuka World
cucumbered.
time.
I mean, there's a lot of good junk out there in Iceland. Maybe she was
and she was in the process of turning into a feral, which is what she loathed to be.
Right.
And I feel like she was thinking about Oswald too. It's like, would I rather get back to Oswald and then have him see me turn into feral ghoul? Like, or would I rather just be done?
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, obviously she wanted to convince him to move on. But once she was feral, she couldn't make it back anyway. So she had to make it back before she turned feral. And it sounds like it was just on the edge, a little too late.
Is Oswald progressing into being a feral as well, or is he stable?
He's a full-on glowing one. He doesn't seem to be. And the truth is, in the games, like, this is one of the places, and there are a few times when it comes up, where it's suggested that all ghouls eventually go feral. But we don't know that that's the case.
Okay.
It most likely is, because there are some ghouls who have been perfectly, functional, normal ghouls for years and don't show any signs of going feral. But I think that these ones in particular, like she says, maybe it was the misters, like they're having much more regular radiation exposure than a lot of ghouls. So I think that's why more of them went feral than average.
Yeah. I'll buy that.
Yeah. And so when we were talking together earlier, I had mentioned that it was an intelligence check.
Uh-huh.
But then I realized that's because of the mod I'm running.
Okay. Because I thought they're only charisma checks in Fallout 4.
Yeah, that's what kind of made me scratch my head a little bit. But I've got that the role players dialogue mod
that makes it like New Vegas, right?
And so that changes it to an intelligence check.
Yeah, there used to be strength checks, intelligence checks, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, this is a good mod because it does, so. While this is a charisma check in the game because they're all charisma checks, the actual, convincing that you're doing is about the science about, ghoulification,
radiation, right? Yeah.
And so it's it should have been an intelligence check.
Yeah. That makes sense. And, I said everything's a charisma check, but that's not true. To fix things, you got to have an intelligence. Like the thing by the submarine down in the nucleus, there's some sort of a check to fix that. That's not charisma. So there are other checks in the game, but they seem, if it's a discussion based, they always default to charisma.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we all got through Oswald there. You get his hat and a sword. Am I right?
I like that hat.
It increases movement speed. Steve should be all over that hat. Get him, Pip-Boy Steve.
Wait, you said and his outfit? Ray. And he left for you. You didn't kill him to take his outfit, right?
Right.
Okay.
You got his outfit
I
too?
have to ask when it's you. So I don't know that I got his outfit.
I don't think I did either.
Hmm.
Did you get an outfit somehow, Ray? I think I just got a hat and a sword.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did.
Maybe because you
Interesting.
used the holotape. Do you know, Swear, if you got the
I'm
outfit?
trying
or-
to think, and I'm like, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I couldn't tell you. I don't remember.
But that hat, now let me tell you what, that hat is hot. Okay, so I traded my visor. This entire game I've been wearing. It's odd. I plan on wearing a knit cap for the game, like when I was designing my character.
Mhm.
But I got this stupid faded blue visor early on. I loved it with her bangs and stuff like this. Perfect. But yeah, I finally switched my hat, and I'm now wearing Oswald's hat. It's pretty
the
great.
visor and the summer shorts outfit.
I'm wearing a Nuka Cherry outfit with the visor, or
Ooh,
had been, yeah.
very nice.
But now with the hat, the +10 movement speed, real nice.
Yeah, very cool. And the sword, is it an electric sword? I forget what it does. It's a Chinese officer sword with some sort of legendary perk to it. I thought it was electric damage, but I could be wrong. That I might be
I think
thinking of the
so.
submarine sword now that I'm mentioning that.
Sword of Wonders.
Sword of Wonders.
Yeah, I remember doing something
Yeah,
interesting.
it
but I
ignores
didn't use it.
30% of the target's damage and energy resistance.
Oh. Okay, so it just penetrating or whatever, basically. Cool. All right. So goodbye, Oswald, whether he be laying dead at your feet or off in the wasteland looking for a cure. Good luck with that, Oswald. Let's move on to the world of refreshment. Swearl, you mentioned that Nuka lurks suck. Did you have fun over there in the world of refreshment?
Oh yeah, so much fun. It was just a blast. I don't know. No, it was awful. It was so awful. Um, especially because I'm switching over to the melee portion. It's like trying to get up close and personal with some of them is awful. So I kind of defaulted back to pistol. But
Yeah, it's better to keep your distance. Yeah.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. And my grenades didn't do much damage to him at all, and it was rough.
When they tuck themselves down and have their shell over their soft parts, those Nuka lurks are very, very damage resistant. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And then yeah, it was awful.
All right.
The
So
Assaultrons didn't give me too much trouble. It was just the Nuka lurks.
Jess made a point. Is like, why are all these Assaultrons in here? Who'd someone call OSHA? There's too many deadly robots in this workplace. But I couldn't agree more. So we're at the Nuka-Cola plant, and they've installed a river of Nuka Quantum flowing through the through the base of the factory there. And
And it's another place where it comes in handy to have Aqua Girl. Even though I can't swim around in Nuka World,
do you take
there's
radiation
plenty
from
of
the
water?
Do you take radiation from just walking in the Quantum?
Yeah, if you don't have Aqua Girl.
I didn't even notice because I've got the Aqua Girl. I
didn't think I did.
I didn't even think of that.
It's all water gives you radiation.
Yeah, but
didn't-
it's not water. It's quantum.
Nuka Cola.
I didn't
Okay.
get. I don't
Yeah,
have
no, I
Aqua
don't think
Girl,
I
and-
had any radiation.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Like I didn't, but I also use Aqua Girl. So
Right. Yeah.
I was definitely worried about it. I got radiation in the stream they had outside, but not inside.
Same. Yeah, I had the same concern, and I was surprised. But I mean, pleasantly, I was thinking maybe it's just because it's up to your ankles. I know elsewhere when you get water of any depth, you'll take rads. But yeah, minor blessing. So y'all didn't love the Nuka lurks, is what I'm hearing.
Oh, I didn't.
Not
mind
so
them.
much, no.
I
They were easy to see, high visibility.
I brought Captain's Blend with me and didn't actually use it at all.
Wait, oh my God, that was so smart, and yet so
And
not
I didn't
smart.
I didn't even use it. And it's like, well, I didn't have a whole lot of trouble with them. But again, there's lots of turns to the pathway there, so there's not lots of straight shots where I can be more than 20 paces away. And the explosion cloud of my pistol is just, if I don't get a lot of space in between me and them, then it can be pretty brutal for my followers. So I had to switch over to Righteous Authority. No. Which one do you get from the Arc Jet basement?
Yeah, that's Righteous Authority.
Okay, yeah. So I was using Righteous
Oh,
Authority.
from the basement. That's the junk jet from the basement. if that's
Or
what
not?
you mean.
No, I just meant the
the one you get from dance. By
from
going
dance.
through
Yeah,
Yep.
right. Yeah, so I used that. I took the stock off and put a pistol handle on it because I've got the gunslinger. So I'm using all those. So I had to switch over to that so I wasn't doing splash damage to me and all of my companions who are with me. Billy still won't come into buildings, but the Squire boy is with me every time, going like, I wish they would give me a gun, but Proctor, whoever, just says he just laughs in my face. Yeah. So fighting the Nuka lurks. Jess, we mentioned your observation of too many assaultrons in the building.
Oh my, yeah. So that was a real shock. So going through, because like I'm doing this all in one night, and it's getting a little bit late at this point because Kitty Kingdom took a while. So it's a fun little thing. It's like it's a small world, but essentially with Nuka World stuff, and you learn about the development of Nuka Cola, Brad Burton inventing the formula, the cherry, and out east we do these flavors, and out west we do these flavors, and it's cute and adorable and yet very bitey. But if you hop up on any of the displays, you can unlock a door. Okay, so it starts out with like expert, and then the next one's advanced. Well, silly me, on the very first one there, we were learning about Brad Burton inventing the formula. I jumped up and I picked that expert lock, and I get back into these walkways, and I'm like, oh, cool, okay, because I didn't remember exactly how it was set up. It had been quite a while. I just start walking through these walkways, and I'm like, let me take this one, and he'll come here, and I end up coming out, and I'm like, oh, look, a bunch of Nuka Cola Quantum. And then out of nowhere, there are 5 freaking Assaultrons. Now, to be fair, it was like 2 Assaultrons and 3. Like I was dispatching them, and then they just kept coming. It was like there was an Assaultron duplication machine around the corner that they just wouldn't stop. And it was a quick death the first time. And then I went back and, took them out more deliberately. And I got them. They weren't that bad. But, as soon as they get a head cannon on you, you're in trouble. Like, At this point, I'm high enough level without the head cannon. I can do okay against them. But they were just, I don't know where they came from behind me. Apparently, there's some kind of vermin security or something. Like, what are they there for? Do anyone know the explanation?
Yeah,
they're security.
Big, expensive rat traps, right?
No, so the gunners went in. You can actually find gunner bodies, and they brought the Assaultrons with them.
Okay.
Is what I think.
Okay. Yeah, because you do find a bunch of gunners.
That's true, right?
And a Star Corps.
Oh, fuck you, Star Corps. I think I've got 2 or 3 Star Corps now. I was hoping that, oh my god, I hope I didn't miss one in Kitty Kingdom. I don't think I picked one up there. Wait, no, there is one in the basement down in Kitty Kingdom, right?
I don't remember.
I don't remember
any Star Corps yet.
There is no basement in the Alamo. No, I can't remember where that was. That might have been in this factory where I picked it up. But I know I picked up one in a basement somewhere, and then there's one on a table in the marketplace as you're walking into the zone. So I think I've got 2, maybe 3.
But all in all, in the world of refreshment, after taking out those Assaultrons, I then worked my way back around. So I kind of did it backwards because I'm like, okay, now I got to kill everything on the inside. So I just kind of went through from the Quantum back through the out west and then the east. And, it's not that bad. Nuka lurks, they cause trouble for a lot of people. What I was telling other people was that because I'm a VATS pistol build with Penetrator, it's very easy to target their faces. So if I was just shooting a Nuka lurk, like if I was melee, like, y'all, like you're running right now with Nuke, that would be rough because you can't target anything particular and the shell is in there doing DR. But if you do their faces with a lot of VATS hits, it still takes more shots than most creatures, but I could pop off 5 hits and kill them in the face, maybe 6 before they could really get to me. So that wasn't bad. And then just all the hatchlings. Oh my goodness. Curie and dog meat fighting them, but they don't really, let's be honest, companions, even my companions, I have like a better accuracy mod and stuff, but still they only do small amounts of damage, just kind of plink, plink, plink. So hatchlings are one of the few things they can kill, but even there, it's kind of pathetic sometimes. Like dog meat, seriously.
I had more trouble with the hatchlings than I did with the Nuka lurks, honestly.
I always do. They're the rad rats of the like shelled crustacean world.
Yeah.
I use the companions as pack mules and distractions, so I can attack them later.
Perfect distraction. Yep, just back up and let them. You did a little hop. It's funny they had that little jump attack too, like of all the attacks,
Right.
kind of like
Yeah.
Brad Rich's.
Which is nice when all I have to do is just sit there and hold the Ripper, and they jump right into it, and then just keep popping.
They walk into their own demise.
That's perfect. So you clean out all the ones on the inside, and you learn, how this is a bottling plant, stuff like that. And then you got to go to the outside and clear the exterior. And out on the exterior, there are some kings, or nuclear kings.
Oh yeah,
There
on the
are-
rooftop there was a bunch, right?
hmm And of course, after you kill a few of them out there, that's when the queen pops. And I don't know if you have to kill like 4 or 5 first, or you just have to get one near the pond for the queen pops up, but she does.
I will say, when I first stepped out that door, I died immediately, and I was like, "What?" And then I did it. I had to clear out all the assaultrons again, try and figure
Oh,
my way
no.
back out. And that place is a maze. I can never figure it out. I'd be like, "Oh, it's this door," and then it's like the other side of the plant. But so I do it all again, and I get out that door, and then I turn the corner, and the turret kills me. I'm like, okay. So I do it all again.
Oh, that's painful.
And then
I'm sorry.
I kill the turret, and then the nuclear kills me. And I was like, oh, fuck me. And so then I do it all again. I remember to save before the door this time. And then I had to do it like 3 or 4 more times because then like the nuclear killed me, and then it called like the king Mirelurk or whatever from the rooftop, and that called the other king, and it was like a swarm in that corridor of like 4 or 5 different nuclearks just
Yeah,
piling
they are
on top of me. It was
bad when there are
rough.
multiple. I never had more than 3 at once, but if I had of, I could see that being real bad in that area.
That's annoying.
I killed the queen from up top. I never went down to the water to kill the queen.
Yeah, I shot her from up
No.
top too.
Yep.
We're all using save mods. For those brave souls who are not, is there a bed anywhere inside? Wait, the gunners, the dead gunners, there's a sleeping bag in there, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
it's fairly close to the door too, so you don't have to go too far to get back to that area.
Good. Like you, Jess, I found walkways at one point, and I just started wandering around, and then all of a sudden I was outside, and I was like, well, shit, how did I get out here? And I had to go back in and find 2 more, because it makes you clear out all the Mirelurks inside, and then go outside. So I had to go back inside and find 2 more Mirelurks that I couldn't find. And they were all the way, you twist back down the tunnel and back around and back around and back around, and there's 2 more that pop up there. So it took me forever to find those last 2, because I'd already cleared them out and been through the whole thing like 3 times, but there was like 1 more turn at the very end of the tour that I just hadn't taken yet.
Yeah, mine were the 2 that were near the spacesuit.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned the spacesuit. I grabbed that. Does it do basically radiation? Is it a rad suit? The same principle?
I'm not sure. I never use it.
Yeah.
Except I think you can wear it if you go see the hubologists and get some kind of extra dialogue from them.
Is that quest
Yep, that makes
assigned, or
sense.
is that just a side quest we can run and do?
Yeah,
Just a
as
side quest.
All right. Well, I'll try to remember to take that over there and do that.
Yeah, for
And
me,
then-
throughout the whole thing, there was only one Mirelurk king that spotted me. And fortunately, so I had just come up a set of stairs, and he was right there.
Boom.
And I survived the first blast from him, and then, Vatstaben took him out. So,
And then you stealthed the
but
rest.
all the
That's
rest of
impressive.
all the rest of them were stealth kills. Oh yeah, so while I'm doing 2160 per second damage, I also have Ninja 3, which gives me 10 times melee damage.
Nice. How did you deal with the queen?
I just snuck up to her.
She didn't see you
got
come up from
within
behind?
blitz range, and she was gone.
Nice. Good deal.
Yeah, nothing takes more than one bat swipe to kill.
Sounds like a really powerful build.
Yeah.
I mean,
Finally.
yeah,
Took you a while.
that's true. Swirly, as you move to more melee, is that something you can do, like points to ninja for the stealth? Like, are you stealth otherwise?
I still haven't specced into that yet. I'm trying to
Yeah.
up some of the damage first.
I haven't either done stealth at all, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I had spec'd a little bit into it to kind of prepare before I went full melee, but I haven't gotten there yet.
And
I'm still doing pretty good damage. I think my base damage is like 180 or something
nice.
before anything else. But it's
You can start
I'm
stacking
like
that. Yeah.
basically rebuilding the whole build. So
All right, what's the end of the world of refreshment? Killing the queen, all the kings outside.
Pretty much it. Once they're
Yeah,
all dead,
just
exterior and then
everything.
interior, then you go and you raise the flag.
pest
Oh right,
extermination.
I didn't even mention that at the Kitty Kingdom about going outside and putting the, you
gotta pick your poison.
yeah.
Which faction you're giving it to? Kitty Kingdom. Which faction giving it to? The Nuka World of Refreshment. So Kitty Kingdom, I actually ended up giving to the pack. I decided with all the bright, like I joked the other day about disciples, like haha, but no, I figured all the bright colors and stuff, the pack would really love that place.
The painted stuff. Yeah, right. Even though we've killed all of his friends.
And then I gave the operators the bottling plant because I figured they would like the equipment and, running an operation and all that. So far, pack and operators. How about y'all?
I was assigned the disciples. That's just why I'm defaulting to giving everything to the disciples. Is there
Everything.
Is there an option to not give it to one of the 3 raider factions? Can you just claim it for yourself or whatever?
No, it's always one of the
It's
3.
always one of the 3. Okay.
But it's still for yourself because you're the overboss. So you claim when you're going to
Yeah.
get tribute. I went back and got my tribute from all 3 of these so far.
Yeah, I went back and I was like, all right, here we go. Let's rake it in. And you open up and you're like, ugh, some 308
More of the
ammo.
same.
Good-
More of the same.
Good lord.
Yeah, so my faction's the operator, so I did pack and operators. How about you? So I'm normal. Did you do all disciples or what did you do?
So the funny thing, so I gave Kitty Kingdom to the pack because of the bright colors. But now that you
That's
say I
smart.
could have done disciples, it'd be like, yes, the corruption would have been fabulous. But I gave it to the pack, and then I gave the bottling plant to the disciples. And I know we haven't gotten there yet, but I gave the Safari Adventures to the pack because
Yeah.
it seems
The
it's
animals,
like the zoo,
right,
and I'm kind of
yeah.
leaning more towards pack at the moment. But
I
I'm gonna
know,
give-
right?
I'm gonna give the rest of them to the disciples and just leave the operators with nothing because screw those guys.
Dead
I
ass
don't like people.
nothing.
I mean, if their loyalty can be bought away from me, I find that's not okay. No.
No, that's fair. Very mercenary. Yeah, I kind of like that about them. I mean, they're my faction anyway, but I kind of like their attitude because I feel like, yeah, they can be bought, but I don't know that someone else could buy them away from you. You know what I mean? As long as you're keeping the caps flowing, they're happy with you.
Yeah, but what if you don't? That's the thing. What if something goes wrong in the future and then they're like, oh, well, you're not getting us caps anymore. We're just gonna turn on you.
I mean, same thing if you don't get any, good fresh meat for the disciples or,
Just send them into the Commonwealth. They'll have fun.
you're right.
Eat those.
Disciples unleashed.
Eat those.
But yeah, so
Commonwealth
I
folks
gave
alive.
the pack to the Safari Zone too. So disciples have nothing yet, but I plan on giving them the Dry Rock Gulch. I don't know, just give them something.
Yeah, I'm just curious what makes you decide, besides the pretty colors, like there's no benefit difference between them or anything. Like what?
Well,
why
the
not just go with
benefit
your
is in the
assigned?
end.
Sorry, go ahead.
The benefit is in the end. Because so the whoever has the least number of
Park
Parks.
sections. Yeah.
are going to be hostile to you.
Yeah, after you do power play and you get a couple settlements, they're going to go hostile. That'll be that move.
Yeah.
But the more you
Oh.
give to a faction, the more they like you. It changes their attitude. So, for instance, right now for me, the pack has 2, like they would for you too. And it's interesting because you walk in around their area, they're like, "Yeah, we're the real alphas now. Like, pack now, we're all alphas." And they're talking you up about how great you are and how it's great to be on top. And so you can get the difference there. And operators, they're happy they have something. You know what I mean? And disciples, they're like, "Luckiness is in charge, or else I gut you." Like they're already pissed. So.
Yeah. And if you give them all to one, then you've got 2 against
2
you.
factions that come in against you. So, do you think if we've got 2 sections of the park left, that I should give 1 to each of the others? So, therefore, there's not going to be one faction that is lowest, because there'll be 2 that are lowest. Or will they
Isn't it-
both be hostile?
Isn't it no matter what you do, at least one of them is going to be mad at you and attack you in
Right.
the end?
I
So
have-
it's
I have no
probably
idea.
just better to give them both to one of them.
Yeah.
And so you've got
I'll just give them
two
all to
of
the
them on your
disciples.
side.
Yeah. Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know. Let's have everyone fight me. Come on.
I like having two on my side. That's why I'm doing operators
makes
and pack
sense.
there.
But you can't give 3 to 1 and then split the last 2 and have people be.
I guess you could. Yeah, guess you
But
could.
Swearl was just saying that no matter what you do, you're always going to have at least one faction
Right.
mad at you.
Yeah.
So it'd
Yes,
probably be
you're
both
still
of
gonna
those
get one.
anyway. Okay. Cool. All right. I think that wraps up refreshment, right? Wait,
Mhm.
before we move on, Ray, you mentioned there's like a holotape or something you need to get on the roof to get the Nuka World power armor. That's the
Yeah.
Nuka-Cola power armor in there. Where's that?
Yeah, so at the far end of the roof from the flag, it's kind of a mid-level roof section. There's a couple of buildings or like trailer things, and inside one of them is a couple of workbenches, a couple of weapons benches,
Okay.
and then around a shelving unit there's a case, a bookcase, kind of I guess, well, it's like a chest of drawers that has a holotape on top of it.
And it's
And
like
that holotape-
Caleb's holotape or something.
Casey's, I think it is.
Casey's. Okay.
And it's the password to the computer.
Yep.
That if you have a high enough hacker skill, can just hack it. But if you don't, you go up on the roof, you find this tape, and you can then open up the door to the power armor.
Beautiful.
Now you have to go back down into the ride section river to where you saw the power armor when you passed by earlier.
Yeah, because you have no access from the outside. So where's that terminal?
But now there's a door open next to it, and you can go in and pick it up.
Oh,
And
okay.
it has a core in it. So
Oh, nice. I always keep a core on me just in case I find a suit of power armor.
It's a nice
out
looking
there.
set. I still prefer my Vim armor, but yeah, it's pretty attractive.
I
yeah,
think
it's T51.
I completely missed it, and I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
It's just, there's like the science, there's like little display windows every so often. There's like when they talk about the history of Brad Burton making the formula, it has a scientist mannequin sitting there in a lab coat or whatever, and it has a little scene. It's like every so often there's a little scene, and there's just one that's just like a security gate, and behind it is the Nuka World or Nuka Cola red,
And
really pretty power armor.
I think it's missable because it's opposite one of the areas where there's all the windows to the bottling plant on the other side. So
Yes.
you might have been distracted by the view on the other side and not seen it there. But yeah, it's just a small little security area with the Nuka Cola power armor. Very
Yeah.
cool.
I might go back and try to get that tonight after we mix the episode down.
And that's the Nuka Cola red in that area. The quantum armor is Galactic Zone. Also,
Yeah.
a note for both you, because you're asking about two factions, and Solior saying he's giving all of them to disciples. So he'll have two mad at them. It's still, even if you have two gangs with none or two gangs with one each, there is still going to choose at random who's mad at you. So it's still only going to be
it's still-
one
okay.
gang that'll rebel. Yeah, it's not. Gonna
Oh,
be
just
both,
one. Okay.
as far as I know.
And is there? I would assume it'd be the disciples be the worst ones to have going against you. But is there any real difference of who's mad at you between all the three factions?
Not that I know of. I've never sided with Raiders before. I always, even if I work with them for a while, I ultimately clean it out.
And
Help the traders.
part of this, the last part of this is going to be: do we have to go back out into the Commonwealth and claim some settlements in the name of the faction that we're?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where we go after we finish all the parks.
Okay.
The quest is called Power Play first. That's where you get 3 of them, and it's after that one of them will rebel.
I don't think I've ever done that.
No, I know most of us haven't. Raided once, he said.
Yeah.
And then he felt icky afterward.
But it's it's such a pain in the butt because it'll send you to settlements, and especially if you played Minutemen for a long time, and you've got all of the settlements.
Yeah.
You know, you're going back and destroying all of your own hard work, because you can't just go back and say, hey, you know, this place is mine anyway. You know, I'm taking it for the Raiders. If you don't like it, leave.
Yeah.
You know, you have to go in and fight them.
I'm glad I only have half the settlements this time.
Yeah, and then also I loaded a mod that does not send you to any settlement that you have previously taken.
Smart.
So
Yeah,
it'll only send me to places I haven't been yet.
My faction is Minutemen too, and I want to finish the main story. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to logistically do that. If at some point I'm going
Can
to
you have the Raiders build your transapparator thing?
No, I don't believe so. You'll have to go with somebody else at that point.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
It's only
Yeah.
Preston that hates you anyway. You can still work with the Minutemen even after that.
Yeah, and
So mad.
you know, the other thing is with sim settlements too. You know, my settlements are pretty beefy.
Yeah, why did
so
I build so many turrets here?
I don't necessarily want to go up against them.
Yeah, if you build lots of turrets, that's oh my god, you're just shooting yourself in the foot later, literally.
Yeah, and the head and, the body.
head and the body, taking arm shots. Ugh, no
Just
good.
but before you go raid them, just sidle right on in, take them all out, just delete them from the
Yeah,
settlement,
start-
then
yeah.
go back and attack.
There you go. That's smart. Go to build mode and take away all their
Yeah.
defenses. All right, let's go. Let's go get
That'd be
natural.
just my luck. I'd get a note when I went back to, you know, I'd get the notice that that I had to go defend the settlement
After you attacked it, Again?
after you deleted all the defense around
go
it.
defend it. Oh no. Absolutely.
Yeah, I got a note that, you know, when I was in the bottling factory that old Longfellow's cabin was under attack, and I said I left him plenty of whiskey. He should be fine. And a little bit later, I got the notice that Longfellow's cabin successfully defended itself.
Because he's drunk. He's a problem for me. I know I mentioned it to you before because of the way I killed everyone in Far Harbor Village, and he's still the provisioner to his own cabin for me. He comes back every time because I got to run away. Otherwise, he starts a big fight with everyone.
Never forgive.
Everyone
Yeah.
at everyone at my settlement. It sucks.
You are the scourge. You are the scourge of the island, Andrew.
I am.
You
Yeah.
killed everyone.
And I'm surprised it didn't break the trade route, honestly. Like, he should just say no. Poor
Yeah,
guy.
but if it ever comes under attack, he's going to join the attacker's side. And
Let's burn it down. That'd be funny. All right, let's go visit our new buddy. What's his name? Not Cheeto.
Cito.
Cito. Up at Safari Adventure there, Ray. How did you like our new section of the park?
Oh, I love Cito. He's such a fun guy. So when you get there, he's fighting a gator claw,
Yeah.
and when you attack the gator claw with your ripper, Cito takes a knee.
No. Yeah. I didn't have that. I just shot him in the belly, and Cito was very happy.
I exploded him too. Cito also took a knee from me as well. It's like, this damn gun. Everything is too close together in this damn amusement park.
Yeah.
I will say with the melee, I've got the disciples knife. I'll swing and like it'll catch Nick in the arm or something, and then he'll go down. I swear I used more stim packs on Nick than I did myself
Yeah.
in the Safari Adventure
Totally.
area.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Trying to take down all the gator claws.
Yeah. I can't have well, I mean, yeah, that's my excuse. My excuse is because I can't hurt them, you know, and have to stim pack them all the time. That's why I don't have a follower.
Right.
It's
Right.
not that it's
Right.
not that
Sure,
I hate
Ray.
followers.
Sure, Ray. That's the reason.
Yeah. Purely out of their own self-preservation.
Yeah. So talking to Cito lets you know that there's a new monster in town, the Gator Claw, and some sort of, I don't remember when it's revealed, but there's a facility that is producing too many of these guys. So we go back and visit Cito's family, and you find that Cito has been raised by a bunch of gorillas. And I was like, oh, that's pretty fun. And if you have I don't know if it's charisma. It must have been charisma because I put on all my charisma clothes. If you pass a check, you can have one of those gorillas running around the park with you. Did any of you guys manage to do that? One of the family members will follow you?
I didn't want there to be a chance of taking a damage. I didn't want there to be a chance of the gorillas getting hurt. So I did not. After we got there and you fight the Gator Claw and you meet the family, I convinced them to stay there and protect them.
Oh, you didn't even take Cito with you. You left
No,
Cito and
not at all.
everyone there. Oh,
I
poor
text Cito.
Cito.
He's like, "Oh, I'll come with you." I'm like, "I mean,
All
if
right.
you want to help, I'll take it."
Let's take your brother gorilla too.
So I let him go attack the Gator Claws first, didn't to distract him, and then I snuck around the back and I stabbed him in the butt.
See, that's smart. That's smart. Expose the butt. And Cito's essential through this, right? So he won't go down on you.
Correct.
Entirely.
Yeah.
How about his the gorilla you get, his brother? Like, did they go down? Like, can they die? Andrew, did you have the gorilla die at all, or no?
No, I don't even recall it engaging in the battle fighting at all either. Maybe it was, but I was using my explosive pistol and taking stuff down. The Gator Claws.
It's Travis and the squire, hang back. And
Yeah, they're like, hey,
is Billy still with you?
He's outside. He won't go inside. So he was around in the park. This one, Safari Adventure, since most of it's outside. Yeah, he was following us around too.
Yeah, so the gorilla was just
taking a page
following,
from them. Yeah,
what the rest of the pack was up to.
Like, hang back. His pistol's pretty splash dangerous.
Smart. Very smart. So yeah, you probably noticed too that if you explore around, you get a little bit of Cito's story. Like, so you hear about Cito, about how he, came here as a child after his family died, and he was old enough he could speak some English, stilted, because he had learned to speak before coming here. But he's only got some language. He doesn't use it much with the gorillas. But if you investigate, you'll find that there is a note from his mother that he's kind of brought with him all this way. And if I can read that note for you guys real quick, just so you kind of get the backstory there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to hear that.
If you're reading this note, then you've met Marcus Cito. His father, Marcos, was killed in a super mutant attack on our settlement, and I'm afraid my own wounds will be taking me as well. I don't have much time, and I'm terrified to send him out into this world alone, but I don't have any choice. I'm begging you, please take him in and see that he gets the food and shelter he'll need in order to survive. Tell our little Cito his parents love him, and if he's looking for us, we'll always be inside his heart. Cito's mother, Imelda. So he had this note with him for if he met, a family or someone took him in and helped him, they would see this. But, he found the gorillas instead of someone who could initially read. So, so this has been there for a long time. But I also like the name Marcosito being the diminutive of, Marcos and Marcosito. I thought that was really cute.
That is cute.
And that's where his name comes from.
I had not watched Game of Thrones before the first time I play through this. Does anybody get a super big Khal Drogo feel when they look at Cito? Somebody get that reference? Yeah.
Moderate Drogo feel, yeah.
I walked up to him, I'm like, whoa.
You also remember how I mentioned that I'd heard that the pack leader there, oh my gosh, what's his name? Leader of the pack there? Mason had a specific build that they kind of gave him just for that was unlike some of the others. But I think Cito has the same musculature. I think they created it for, this DLC, because Cito he's wicked thick too.
Yeah, he's a big fella.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, you go out there and you got to find the source of the monsters, the Gator Claws.
Yes.
Well, but first he gives you the shiny thing from the Wrinkly Man.
Oh, right. Shiny thing, Wrinkly Man. Yes.
Who was the Wrinkly Man? I assume he's talking about some ghoul.
One of the scientists, yeah.
One of the scientists was ghoulified.
Yeah.
And
Dr.
he had a
McDermott.
relationship with the doctors there at the facility who were producing the Gator Claws before? No? He just pulled it
Well,
off their body or something?
Not really. No. So essentially, the wrinkly man showed up, but was not very well and died soon after. I mean, it sounded to me like he was there with them for maybe a little while before he died, but he did.
Yeah.
He was there. He visited him. He helped them for a little bit and then gave Cito the shiny thing.
Yeah,
Shiny
because Cito's only been there for, whatever age he is, so maybe
Yeah.
20 years.
Mhm.
And so any of the scientists that were still alive, like the wrinkly man, were ghouls.
Yeah,
Right.
because it's been a couple hundred years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Dr. McDermott was out with him and then he died, but he told Cito that the shiny thing was the key to stopping them. And so of course Cito tried again and again to get in there into the facility, but couldn't at the Triangle House.
So when did the experiment, the animal production facility start? Has it been producing gator claws for 200 years or more recently?
No,
Okay.
that was relatively recently. It was within Cito's lifetime because you
Okay.
could tell that Cito wasn't fighting gator claws at first. You know what I
Okay.
mean? That
Yeah,
there haven't been all of these gator claws all along.
They had come about, right, fairly recently.
The
Yeah, 'cause
actual
the doctor was doing experiments.
Right. He was trying various things. And his ultimate, if we want to jump to that part in the Triangle House, like once you get in there with the cloning, essentially McDermott's story is that he was the last of the three scientists who had been there. And they had access to a cloning machine with recombinant DNA. Okay. So they would be able to basically bring all these different kinds of DNA strands in and create creatures and create hybrids, which was part of stuff for the park originally. And so the original idea was to, create maybe curiosities and also hybridize and have stronger, healthier animals.
Ligers, right.
But of course, it got slightly twisted. So ultimately, his idea, after being attacked a few times and trying to leave and being unsuccessful, is that he wanted to create a park protector. Some kind of creature that would be very, dangerous and tough, but able to be controlled, that he could, give commands to and train to act as a protector. And of course, when he created the gator claws, long story short, turns out they were excessively hostile, and he couldn't train them, or they would take orders, and so essentially they chased him out, and ultimately he died.
So what is
from that.
gator claw? Obviously makes you think, alligator mixed with death claw. So this scientist had used DNA from a death claw found out around the park somewhere, and alligators that were in the park formerly, but they're not around anymore.
And FEV. He was trying to do this for a while. He had a Jackson chameleon and alligator, what he's doing. So he was actually mixing the chameleon and not the death claw itself originally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And when he was out one day, he discovered a super mutant, and he was shocked by the mutations and brought it back to study and found that it was, oh my gosh, this is a mutated human. So he was using some DNA or information
FEV.
extracted from the super mutant along with this, without necessarily knowing the whole story of FEV, and trying different things. And each time that he added the sample, he had a name for it, like CQQ1 or CQQ8 or something. He would use that sample, and it made them unstable, but also more powerful. And so that's what he introduced.
Were there other cool animal combinations described somewhere in a terminal or note or anything like that?
A couple. Do you guys remember any?
Mm-mm.
No.
I know you get the two-headed antelope.
Yeah, Dr. Hine, the doctor that you end up getting a password from as you go through the adventure, because you have to find your way into the Triangle House. You have to get a password. So Dr. Hine on his terminal talks about some things he experimented with. One or two funny things after night of being drunk. He says, man, it might have even been viable. Even when drunk, I'm pretty good, but it was something ridiculous. But then other things, just adding extra legs to creatures and experimenting. It does seem like they were a little bit of a mad scientist, slightly amoral mad scientist types, even beforehand, a little bit.
You mentioned the two-headed antelope, so that wasn't caused by radiation. That was an FEV genetics experiment?
It's something they were cloning.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're like gazelles. Essentially, that's the default thing
Gazelle.
for the
Okay.
machine to create. Yep.
Right on. Cool. All right, so where are we in the quest? Sorry, I keep getting sidetracked.
Well, we jumped all around. Long story
Okay.
short, you help Cito, you find the place, you find Dr. Hine, you get in there, and you learn the whole story, and you have to kill all the gator claws and turn off the machine.
Yeah, I think there's like 20 around the park that you have to track down and kill. You get a number of them that you have to kill.
21 in the end. Yeah.
21,
So
okay.
by the time you're in there and I've done everything in the facility, you probably got at least 15 or 16 dead. So then you have to kind of get outside and track them. But anything else either of you want to shout out that was cool along the way to getting that done?
You mentioned the
I know-
shiny thing. What was the shiny thing? It was like a
Holotape.
rocket-powered baseball bat or something, wasn't it?
Oh, at the end of the quest. Yeah. You were saying, Swirly?
Oh, I was gonna say the gator claw in the bear den. I went in there because the bear was a glowing
yeah.
Yao Guai.
Mhm.
So I was just like, I sat down in the corner, I sneaking, I crouched down, and I just let it kill the gator claw, and then I snuck right back out. I'm like, enough! I left the bear alone. I didn't want to touch it. I just
That
left.
was smart. I decided to
Scary
take it on.
bear.
I'm like, how tough can this thing be? And oh my God, that legendary Yao Guai was a beast. Yeah.
I
that Yao Guai
fast
was-
it real quick just to see how much damage I would do. I'm like, that's too little. We're done.
Yeah, thing was dangerous for sure. For sure.
Yeah,
So that's the bear cave on the north side.
He died when I killed the gator claw, so that was pretty handy.
That's crazy. Your area of effect on that thing, Ray.
Yeah. Well, they were right next to each other, so
Mhm. That's nice. And if you do kill him, you can go out the backside, which is a cave entrance. So there's a hatch to go down to the cave in the very back of the park, or there's kind of a cave entrance near the one ship. I mean, another thing to mention, all these zones are cool. They're themed, they got a theme park thing, but especially this area is very much like that whole fake wildlife survival kind of thing where there's speakers like sending out animal noises at you,
Animal
like
noises,
chittering and
yeah.
insects and stuff. And it's cute. And the little paths and rope bridges and Cappy's treehouse is pretty neat. Like if you get all the way up there, right in the middle of the park, it's a huge place you can get up to. And there's a little
well, that's
head
a
maze.
place where you'd be, handy to have the jetpack to get over
Get
the
up there.
maze.
Yeah.
Oh,
that-
yeah, that
How did you
maze, I
know
forgot
that's
about
exactly
that.
what I did?
That's very
I will-
smart.
I will say the gator claw in the maze completely took me by surprise.
It's like the Minotaur, right? Yeah.
I heard it roaring and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, they were roaring and stomping. I found the gator claws the easiest of any of the creatures that we fought here.
Yeah.
I would say toughest were ghouls for me, then Nuka lurks, then gator claws were the easiest because once you target their belly, get a couple of shots in, I was okay.
It took
Which is a surprise.
more shots to
because
kill
death
the
claws
gator.
are bad.
It took more shots to kill the gator claws than it did the Mirelurk queen. Like it takes 6 shots to kill the Mirelurk queen and 8 to kill the gator claw. It's amazing how
Wow.
much DR those damn things have. I don't know. Maybe they have some sort of explosion fire resistance or something. I don't know.
And you were targeting the belly?
I go for legs a lot because I don't want them charging
Oh.
me. You know what I mean?
Mhm. It's a great tactic to cripple
ghouls,
the legs.
yeah, with ghouls especially. I always because they're fast as fuck if they
Yeah.
get on you.
My
Like-
rule is robits attack legs and arms, death claws or gator claws attack the belly, and pretty much everything else the head.
Yeah, to get the headshots in, very effective. All right, are we wrapping up Safari Land there?
I think so. That basically covers it. Once you start the machine, you clean out the extra, gator claws, the extra
Yeah.
monsters, then go back to Cedo. And at that point, you can talk to Cedo and his family and you can tell them, yeah, you should stay, or no, you should go. There are people coming. Essentially, if you want to protect him from the raiders you're going to give the park to, and you're worried about that, you can
Oh.
you can suggest that he leave. Or you can
So
suggest that
my
he stay. So
my friends are going to come in. Is that okay? Well,
Mhm.
yes, it's
Mhm.
going to be okay with you.
exactly. So I actually did that. I told him they were coming in. I told him he could stay, and I had the pack come in. And I was a little bit worried, like that they would, because of the way they are, like exploit him, convince him to fight
Kill
or try to get the
Sito.
gorillas to fight or something like that. But
Oh, put the
Uh,
gorillas in a fight pit. That'd be hilarious. Oh,
yeah,
man.
but he acts like they get along. If you go visit him after, he says, haha, new pack people dress funny.
Oh, that's good.
The outfit's funny, and Cedo like them. They like Cedo family. So
Nice.
that wasn't bad.
We didn't mention the roller coaster, I don't think, but that was the Hein guy you were talking about, right?
Mhm.
He's a dead body up there. I think you get a holotape or something off of his some sort of password for the machine. I don't even remember
that's
what
how-
we get up
That's
there.
how you
but-
get into the lab is with
Okay.
his password.
All right, he's got the lab password. You have to go up to the King Cobra or whatever the roller coaster is called, right?
Those,
Anaconda.
Anaconda.
Those-
There you go.
yeah, those 3 gator claws over there were rough for me. They took down I have Piper and Nick following me. They took him down right away, and I'm just like running everywhere trying not to die while trying to kill them.
Have fun, Nick.
Throwing grenades over my shoulder.
Oh, yeah. Just pulling pins and running.
Yeah,
Good
I did okay, but once again, it's a lot of shots with a pistol on the belly from a distance. The third one got really close. I was a little bit worried because if they do hit you, they do a lot of damage. But I got him done.
Who wins between a big gulper and a gator claw?
Probably the gator claw.
Probably the gator claw. Okay. Those gulpers always gave me lots of trouble too.
I don't know, because those gulpers can be like 25, 30 feet away, and then all of a sudden they're like spiraling into you.
Yeah,
I don't
they're
know. They
on
just
you,
like
yeah.
jump and they like death spiral right into
Faster
you, knock
than
you over and
ghouls.
kill you in one
Yeah.
hit. I have no idea.
Plus, they have no teeth. They've got like gums. They're little salamanders. What are they attacking you with? They're gumming you to death.
They're big enough. They just crush you. Just land on top
Yeah,
of you. Go
yeah.
squish.
I love
Squish.
gulpers. They're so cute, though.
They
That's
are
why, I mean,
cute. They're adorable.
I'm just in favor of
They
them.
look like a Muppet.
And their little gurgly noises that they make.
Oh, the sweet gurgles of distress. All right, I think that wraps up our quest for this evening. So let's roll into a little bit of Iguana Bits. What do we have for news, Jess?
Well, there was some Fallout TV show news. Oh my goodness, for the
Gasp.
first time in a while.
Yeah, I saw a little TV trailer. Is that the news that there's someone from some sort of presentation illegally recorded a trailer for the TV
so
show?
for those who don't know, Gamescom is this week, which is, of course, the biggest gaming convention in the world. It happens in Europe this time of year every year. And there was some stuff that happened for Opening Night Live, which is a show that Jeff Keighley does to kind of open up the show. It's not quite as big with reveals and stuff like that as his other shows, but it's, fun stuff. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But at the Gamescom, Todd Howard and a lot of people from Bethesda were there, and they set up a 300-seat theater. They set up a 300-seat theater to show people the intro to Starfield. So it was an abridged kind of opening of starting the game, the opening cinematics you go through, and some character creation. And people come in and they could watch this and learn a bit about the game. So they were following people in 300 at a time. Seemed really cool. It's spoilerific, like, you know what I mean? Like, people who don't want to see spoilers wouldn't have gone to this. And I won't get into the details of what they showed there, because we can't. But after this demonstration, for people who went, he gave a special treat, which was a preview clip from the Fallout TV show. So he mentioned that he led into this in this clip that was leaked, as it were, that he was friends with Jonah. He called him. It's Jonathan Nolan, but he said he goes by Jonah, which I didn't know. But so that Jonah had given him some footage to look over, and he was going to share some of it. So this wasn't an official preview trailer, but just something that they kind of rough cut together of the TV show. And he said that it wasn't going to be made public. So there will be, you can tell that since there is something being rough cut, that they are pretty soon going to have, a larger trailer or teaser for us or whatever. But we learned when he showed it that it is confirmed for 2024 is when the TV show will be coming out. So
Great.
Don't be expecting it this October, November. It is coming out next year.
Okay. I saw a familiar mushroom cloud in there and such. A little Vault Tech shouts.
In the clip. So the clip didn't show a lot. If you don't want any TV show spoilers, stop listening now. But there's really not much to it they didn't know about. So it starts with a clip of a vertibird. You see a vertibird, the inside of a vertibird, then you see people manning the vertibird, and it looks like Brotherhood. Then it cuts to a picture of a bunch of guys walking together in power armor. We assume that they're also still Brotherhood. So a couple of good Brotherhood shots here. The vertibird looks great, just like you expect it to. And it didn't crash. So it's not the most realistic vertibird. It survived the entire 5-second clip that you saw it for. But yeah. And the Brotherhood looked freaking kick-ass in the power armor walking together. That was a really great shot. Then it went from there to a shot of, you could see Vault 33. So you know how there are multiple vaults. We know Vault 33 and 32 are going to be in the show from what we've seen with leaked footage and behind the scenes stuff. So with those vaults, and the show's Vault 33, and someone leaving, and then you see a big kind of pre-war welcome to LA sign with a Vault Boy, and you got a bunch of cars and stuff on it, and it's your classic kind of pre-war billboard sort of thing that you'll get at any of the games. Like Fallout Shelter, the whole intro to Fallout Shelter showing them falling into the vault and all that. And this has that kind of vibe. But it's a warn sign. So, this is a pre-war sign and that says welcome to LA. I'm pretty sure it says welcome to LA. Top of my head. I didn't write this down, but pretty sure. And then it cuts to an actual view of a nuclear strike, a bomb coming down over a city. And you see one mushroom cloud, then another mushroom cloud, and then a really big one. And that's when you realize, wait, we are actually witnessing LA being attacked. So you're actually seeing the destruction of LA, now called the Boneyard, which some people only were saying, wait, isn't it called the Boneyard, not LA? Lore breaking. And no, the sign is pre-war. It wasn't called the Boneyard before everyone was dead.
Yeah, no
It's
shit.
the Boneyard after the war. But yeah, so you're kind of seeing the creation and destruction of LA. The one other shot that I didn't mention before this is after you see some of the vault stuff, you get a cut to the main character. One of the main characters, Walton Goggins, as a ghoul, and looks fantastic. So it's great to see a shot of his main character. Some people reporting on this said, he looked kind of like Hancock. Of course, if they don't know the lore, they're like, maybe he is Hancock. No, he's not Hancock. Okay, Hancock is a self-made man or self-made ghoul, as the case may be, from radiation and chems. Good times. But yeah, he looks great. Very classic ghoul. And after you get these bombs going off, you then get a fade to, it says Fallout, fading in with the nuclear, fire behind it.
I'm sorry.
Were you playing it briefly?
I was watching it and I thought it was muted.
That's awesome. So that's all we got there. But a couple things we can glean from it. First of all, that Vault 33 is near LA, at least, within view distance of it, because it looks like that's where it's taken from with the sign. A lot of people are once again saying, oh, this means the show is set in LA. It still could be everything we've said before. We don't know the show is set in LA. We know that this area is in LA. So maybe it starts there. Maybe his character story starts there. Yeah. Maybe a lot of it is around LA. But Vault 32 could be elsewhere in the area. With the Brotherhood, we know that their actual location, well, you guys know from playing Fallout 1 with us in a lot of cases, the Brotherhood is a little bit northwest of the Boneyard, or a lot northwest. It could be another area of the Brotherhood too. It might not necessarily be that specific base. So you've got a lot there. I still think that some of it's going to be East Coast. I was talking to Tunnel Stinks Full, and she did another video saying, look, this kind of reinforces that it could still be East Coast. My previous stuff stands, because you do see the red rockets, which are, East Coast, as opposed to the refueling stations on the West. You do see super duper marks, which you don't really see in the West. And while they could put some of that stuff out West too, absolutely, there's nothing saying it couldn't be. There are still some dunks on the West Coast, if not many. So, franchises do move. It's more likely that we're going to see multiple locations.
Yeah.
In the game.
That makes sense, since everywhere was bombed, so it doesn't have to only take place in LA. This leads me to believe the master and that whole storyline might be, if we're doing the Boneyard,
could be touched on.
Yeah,
could be touched on. We don't know at what time period. We know that some of it's going to be pre-war, because we got that clip. We saw that happen.
Yeah.
And if we follow his story, it could be at any time in the future, because he's a ghoul. So he could have lived pre-war, but then the story itself takes place after. The most common rumor that I'm hearing go around for various reasons is that it's set either shortly before the events of Fallout 2 or shortly after the events of Fallout 2.
Cool. Fallout 1 was how many 100 years after the war?
A little less than 100.
Little less than 100 years. Okay.
Yep. And then Fallout 2 is a lot further in the future. Fallout 2 is only 50 years before, 3, New Vegas, and 4.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
But
Good
so
deal.
that's that. Did anyone else have any thoughts on that stuff?
I'm excited to watch a TV show about it.
Hell yeah. Give it to me. So with Gamescom happening, Pete Hines was also there. So I'm not going to get into any Starfield stuff right now, but he did do another talk on Twitch. So if you are interested, he revealed some cool pointers, some cool tips for starting out, and more stuff about the game. Just pretty exciting. But he also Some fun controversy came up again this week, as it does. So, did you guys see the most ridiculous online arguments discourse about Starfield yet?
Oh no, what happened?
Ray saw the start screen debacle, Startgate.
Oh no, Startgate for Starfield. Ugh.
I won't belabor it because it is so dumb. But essentially, a Twitter account, Grums, who's run by a guy named Mark Cern, I think his name is, who used to work at Blizzard. He's famous and well known for some bad takes. Well, he had a really bad take about how the leaked start screen from Starfield, showed one or two things. That either the team was didn't really care that much. Like this start screen reflects that either the team didn't care about the game or they were overworked and rushed and had to, they were passionate and got this out at the very end. So just a bunch of BS. And of course, everyone's jumping on like, how are you judging the quality of the game from the start screen? And of course, even worse, he comes back like in this discourse, like a day or two later, like if you thought that I said the game wouldn't be good just because I said the start screen was rushed, you have no reading comprehension. Like utter BS. But Uncle Pete jumped in into all this with another fantastic, just tossing it down tweet.
Smacking idiots down. He loves that.
Yeah, and essentially saying, or maybe this was one of the first things the team decided on that we worked on together and has been the start screen that we've used for many years that we're very proud of. I mean, essentially, that's paraphrasing. But yeah, he confirmed, no, this is one of the first things we got done. It's a great start screen. You have no idea what you're talking about, my dude.
Good job, Pete.
Yeah, it's like, why do people insist on giving these people oxygen?
Right. He doesn't need clicks. Like he does not need people.
Ignore the hell out of him. Make him go away.
Because that's what he wants.
Yeah.
He wants the clicks.
He's trying to, get people to engage with him.
Yeah.
People are so eager and excited about Starfield in a lot of cases that, they're looking for anything. And so they're gobbling up the news, but also ready to defend at a moment's notice because they are just that excited about it.
I'm super excited to see if there's a huge, weird, negative wave like there was with 76. Like, it's totally different because 76 was sort of like an empty world and blah, blah, blah. I understand that, but just internet culture spoils lots of stuff, so I'm interested to see if there's like a huge negative wave
because it's an Xbox exclusive, Xbox PC and other devices that you can use it with Game Pass. There will be a bit of a backlash from the PlayStation types who are just looking to spoiling for a fight, either because they're mad that they're not getting it and don't want to say that, or because they, it's coming to Xbox, so therefore it's not great. So yeah, there will be negative backlash from that, but assuming the game reviews well and people think that it's good, then there will certainly be less of one than there was 76. 76 people were pretty much all in agreement on, I mean, not us playing it, a lot of us playing it too, that it had issues, but some of us were okay with it, others were not. I pulled up Pete's actual tweet. Here's what he said. I wanted to get his words right, so let's quote. Or, they designed what they wanted, and that's been our menu for years. It was one of the first things we settled on. Having an opinion is one thing. Questioning out a developer's care because you would have done it different is highly unprofessional coming from another dev. And he put dev in quotes. Yeah.
Dev.
Yeah.
Oh, burn. Oh, feel those quotes. That's hilarious.
But so good times. So that was Startgate. But we are 6 days from early access to Starfield.
Yeah.
So yeah.
By the time we start the show next time, we'll have had 26 hours.
We'll be like,
Starfield.
It's like, is Ray logging in tonight or not? Where is Ray?
And Jess may actually have her first character created.
No. She'll spend 28, 30 hours, 36 hours in the character creator. She will.
So,
and Sherry will too.
As y'all know, I mentioned last week on Iguana Bits, I was kicking myself for not going for a review code. Well, the gods smiled on me because I am currently under NDA because I do have early access to the game, which is why I can't talk about anything more except just things around the game. Can't talk about the game, but your girl does have some early access. So yeah,
nice.
I should be done with character creation by then.
No, you won't. It'll take a damn week to do the character creator.
Gotta get it just right.
Yep.
Only to be covered by a helmet.
Tinker. Yeah, exactly. And to play in first person so you won't see the face anyway. Hilarious.
Yeah, here is an answer, people. I never want a helmet. Do I want a helmet? No. I never want a helmet. I always want to see my face. That includes in space. Okay, it doesn't include in space, but it should.
You have a
No
really
helmets.
you have really nice art that someone put together for you with a space pug. Did who made that for you?
Oh yeah, no, that's just something with a friend. I was searching stuff out online and got a pic and we put it together.
That's
So
great.
here is the community calendar. That is the next thing to bring up on the list. So not only do we have a new season, but we have a community
Oh.
calendar. And well, what is happening on that?
Nothing.
Not much. We still got Meat Week coming up. 2 helpings of Meat Week in event. For those who aren't in the Starfield, they can do that. But looking ahead, there is no end of the season listed. And I found this interesting because this season, September, October, November, we might have a solid 12 to 14 week season at least. It only lists through November, so the season could change in December, which would make sense. They've done that before, but I was speculating it might end 12 weeks exactly would put us on November 14th, which is the 5-year anniversary of Fallout 76. So
Ooh.
perfect timing there.
Switch
But they don't
over,
even
huh?
list new season in November. So I have a feeling they're going to wait till December. So if you're playing a bit of Starfield, you're going to have a little extra time to finish the season. That's only speculation, but it does appear that way now.
Do you think they would take that into account while putting up the schedule? Like, oh, there's going to be a bunch of people playing Starfield. Let's extend it a little bit.
So I think that they would only take it into account in as much as they would say it's not as pressing of an issue. I'm sure these decisions are made separately,
Okay.
for the most part. But I have a feeling that, at least in the back of the head, like, we'll have a little bit more time. But I think what they are taking into account is the fact that they're planning things for the 5-year anniversary. And we just had a really short season, so let's get back to normal, which is good. Because as you said,
Yeah.
Andrew, you hope that it's not a trend.
Yeah,
They start
no
doing shorter
shit.
seasons.
I don't want 8-week seasons, man.
So looking ahead, I just wanted to shout out any big events. Bombs Drop Anniversary we've got again, which we don't know what they'll do this year, but they do something every year. Spooky Scorched, or Sporched, as we call them, are still on the calendar. And there's going to be a birthday challenge event coming up in November. Essentially, it's going to be a list of challenges, kind of like we just had for the Squirrel Scouts. It'll be a list of challenges wearing your birthday suit. And at first I was like, oh,
What?
cool, a new
We're
outfit.
naked?
No, they'd be naked. Your birthday suit. I love it. So
That's hilarious.
yeah, that's going to take a lot of damage, but it should be a lot of fun.
That's very funny.
Mhm. But that's pretty much it for the season updates. But the new season is underway, which we already kind of covered. And then the last thing I mentioned on there, I wrote it down, was looking at gaming news. And I just wanted to mention, for those who hadn't heard, Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario since the early 90s.
Wahoo!
Wahoo! He has retired as the voice of Mario. Not in favor of Chris Pratt. No, don't worry. As far as we
Good
know,
Lord.
actually.
No.
But he's moved on to be a community liaison. So he's still going to do events and stuff as Mario. He's going to go around and spread the Mario love. But yeah. So just, thanks for 30 years of being, the plumber we love and, spreading that kind of joy. 'Cause
Absolutely.
gotta love Mario.
And
I mean, he was-
Waluigi and Wario and Luigi, and he
Yeah.
does lots of voices. Yeah.
Now, if Parthenax comes back, he was also the voice of Parthenax, for those who don't know, to bring it to a Bethesda
Oh, there you go.
perspective. Mario and Parthenax. The man has range.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, maybe
I
he'll
don't know if I
still do it with
realized that.
Parthenax.
I don't know if I realize. You guys have probably told me that in years past, but that's funny. Good deal.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Charles, on your retirement, sir. All right, let's get into some shouts on the way out the door. Scorecations abound. No one's got scorecation yet. But then wait. Jess, you have a scorecation?
Oh my gosh. Hot Rod Fiend from Radcat's Rule. Radcat's Rule, a group over on PlayStation that specializes in grinding things out on the board and help people do things. He is already done in 24 hours. Hot Rod Fiend finished the board naturally with no atoms.
Scorecation!
How on fucking earth?
So congrats. And I don't think he listens to the show often, but he's friends with Soph and a lot of our PlayStation friends. So way to go. Got a few friends that are getting close. We might have more scorecations next week. I will say the board this time is going, it's like last time, it's going pretty fast. So I like that.
Good deal. All right. Well, congratulations to Hot Rod Fiend. Man, blasting through.
Yeah.
Hopefully
If you
everyone
do,
else is. Hopefully everyone else is
you-
getting Scorecation very soon. Get to play some Starfield.
Exactly. I was going to say, if you are looking for something fun to do this weekend too, I just want to shout out Gato Pub. We're doing a fundraiser all weekend. Pause for Pirates for Paws is what this one's called, but it's for the charity Paws for a Cause. And it's an animal charity that we love and do a fundraiser for them every September. But we're doing a little earlier this year because Starfield. So yeah, this weekend there's going to be streams, mostly Sea of Thieves stuff, but today, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, raising for Paws for a Cause.
Cool. Pirates for Paws. Check it out, everybody. All right, that wraps up the shouts and the news and everything. Does anybody have any other topics they'd like to discuss on the show this evening?
Nobody even wants to talk food at all?
No
Cool.
food? Yeah, well, let's go eat some painted ghouls then.
Gross.
Swearl, it's been a very pleasurable experience having you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. It was great to hear from you.
Of course, it's been fun.
Where
Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. Where can people find you online if you want that?
So on Twitter, I don't post much. I'll shout it out, but I don't do much. I'm at SoMika34.
SoMika34.
Yes.
All right, check her out there. Thanks so much for hopping on tonight. And you can find him at RayLB and check out his No Man's Sky show at BBCISSS and his Skyrim show at A Skyrim Addict. Ray, thanks so much for hopping on tonight.
Good times.
You can find her at Sleep Is For Tea and at Dames Who Game. Jess, good luck with the fundraiser this weekend. Thanks for hopping on.
Thank you. Thank you.
I can be found at Indie Android. The show is at the Fallout Feed. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout Feed, and we will see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the Wasteland.
Give it to me. Radiation and chems, good times. Go out the
I
backside,
stabbed him in the butt.
expose the butt. He won't go down on you. It's great to be on top.
I survived the first blast.
Fuck me.
Bang, 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 bang.
I was double fisting. I finally got that romance blossoming with her. Some things were going wrong. What the muffin humpers? Banged out. Hey, let's just grind.
The blood spraying everywhere and the smell, the metallic smell. If you get something gets up close and personal to you, the slimes are just so cute.
I've been pounded away on that. Now I'm starting to get into the weeds.